righty, good afternoon, everyone. We are calling the meeting to order at 4:32. Roll call. Rosie.
Trustee Ursulou? Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Here.
Trustee McElroy?
Here.
Trustee Anderson?
Here.
Trustee Crane? Here. Trustee Wiegand?
Here.
Dr. Smith?
Here.
Oh my gosh. All righty, item number 2. Trustee McElroy, do you have an agenda item you want to move?
Yes, I want to move, I think it's 20 and 21, or, I gotta find it.
18.
It's the survey, Healthy Kids Survey to discussion.
18B, 20, and 21, is that what you said?
Well, let me see.
18B, 20, and 21.
Yeah.
18B,
21.
20 and 20.
oh, yeah, okay.
20 and 21.
Okay, yes, exactly, sorry. I'm looking at 18B, never mind, yes.
All righty. Okay, then we'll move it to discussion action item 19A. As of President Ursulou's request, do I have a motion?
I motion to move it to
Yep.
consent.
Second?
calendar.
I'll second.
I mean, to
Yep.
discussion.
All righty. Great. Roll call?
Trustee Ursulou? Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yeah, what am I voting on?
Approving the agenda.
Agenda.
As amended.
As
Yes.
amended.
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Wiegand?
Yes. All righty. Vote was 6-0. All righty. Community input on closed session items only. And we have one. Mr. Welsh. Hold on one second. Trustee Pearson.
This is an opportunity for the public to address the board regarding items on the closed session agenda only. Comments on closed session agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per comment, up to 20 minutes per topic. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another person. And I'm pretty sure you already know that.
Hi, Mr. Welsh.
Hi, Terry Welsh, President of Coastal Corridor Alliance. As always, it's an honor to speak in front of this board. And today I'm really proud and pleased to tell you that last Wednesday, the MRCA, known as Mountains Recreation Conservation Authority, this is the state agency that holds title to Randall Preserve. They approved the property management plan for Randall Preserve. What this is, the property management plan includes resource management plan, public access plan, coastal resiliency strategy. A few months earlier, the same board had approved the tribal access and engagement plan. Actually, there was an article about the vote today or yesterday in Orange County Register. So the plans are in place. What I'd like to throw a couple little factoids at you right now, just for you to ponder. Every month, the Sea and Sage Audubon Society goes out in Randall Preserve and counts birds. And they've identified about 160 different species of birds on Randall Preserve. Now, the second factoid, I haven't verified it myself, but it comes from a pretty reliable source. And that is, there's something called the Natural Communities Conservation Plan / Habitat Protection Plan. It's an agreement between local government, state government, and federal government to manage about 38,000 acres of open space in Orange County. This is mostly Irvine Ranch Conservancy, Laguna Canyon. But on these 38,000 acres, there are about 38 special status species. Special status species being, endangered, threatened, species of special concern, some layer of protection meaning that they're rare. So you got 38,000 acres, 38 species. On humble little Randall Preserve, 387 acres, there are 45 special status species. So you can imagine that balancing public access versus protecting this rare habitat, it's a really delicate dance. And that's why this property management plan took so long. And we're very, very proud of it. It's available on the Coastal Corridor Alliance website, Randall Preserve website, and the MRCA website. And speaking of MRCA, several months ago, MRCA submitted a letter to this board proposing a lease of the property of the 11 acres for conservation purposes. MRCA, I've worked with them now for several years. It's an agency I hold in the highest regard. And I really see this proposal as a win-win-win-win. First of all, it would provide steady income to the school district. By not building the homes there, it'd be great for the species that live there and on Randall Preserve. By not building the homes, it would provide a wonderful opportunity and location for your students to learn about this habitat and to engage in habitat restoration. And finally, with the repurposing of the nearby Fairview Developmental Center, this is an excellent alternative location for the affordable units for your staff on those 11, proposed for the 11 acres. And that's it for now. Thank you as always for listening, and I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Welsh. All righty, next we are moving into closed session. The items are A, conference with real property negotiators, B, conference with labor negotiator, C, public employee discipline dismissal release, D, conference with counsel anticipated litigation. We will return to open session at 6. We're adjourning at 4:38.
Okay, meeting is called to order at 6:03. Can we get a pledge of allegiance led by Trustee Crane?
All right. Please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, adoption of the minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Trustee Crane, second by Trustee Pearson. Roll call vote, Sam?
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes?
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Wiegand?
Yes.
Great. And next we have introduction of new staff. Ms. Shields?
Thank you. We have the great fortune in Newport-Mesa of hiring amazing staff in all positions. And we unfortunately can't introduce every single one of them today, but we do have an opportunity to introduce 2 of our new school leaders. So the first one I'd like to ask to come forward and say a little hello is Susan Ungaro, who is the new principal of Lincoln Elementary. She brings over 20 years of experience, just a little, brings over 20 years of experience. She is an experienced principal. We're excited to have her back in the district. She was once a parent and now returns as an employee. So without further ado, Susan Ungaro. Thank you. Yes. Please do. Please do.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Ursulou, board members, Superintendent Dr. Smith, members of the cabinet, colleagues, and community members. I am so excited to be here. If I haven't had the pleasure to meet you, my name is Susan Ungaro. I am the proud principal of Lincoln Elementary. I was going to go with this script, and I kept going back and forth with, like, do I say this or do I not? But I'm going to go off script for just a little bit because I think it's a little more heartfelt. I mean, like, I was a parent here, and now I am one of the team members here, which I'm super excited to share my expertise with a team of brilliant educators and people who are committed to student excellence. I do definitely believe that every student belongs, every student should be heard. So we actually kicked off Lincoln with a school pledge, and it reads like this. Every leopard has a spot. Every leopard belongs, every voice matters, every day counts, and every student can learn. And I really believe in that dedication. And as I get to learn the different staff members and the community members, I feel like the intention is for all of that. And I am so excited to lead Lincoln Elementary into an excellent school year and work with a team of brilliant educators. So thank you for welcoming me into the NMUSD team. Thank you.
We also have an opportunity to introduce the new principal at Ensign Middle School. Dr. Jen Fox also has over 20 years of experience in education. She is known throughout the Harbor Zone and brings a lot of knowledge to her new position. And so, Dr. Fox.
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent, Dr. Smith, Board President, and the board. I am so excited and enthusiastic for the year ahead. I look forward to serving the Ensign community, walking alongside the district leadership, our parents, our students, and our community in continuously improving Ensign to be the best school that it can be. I've had a great first couple days at the school, and I'm very excited that we will be pursuing continued opportunities, working with a wonderful staff. It's been a great opportunity, and I thank you so much for putting me in this position and trusting me and believing in me, and I look forward to having a very good year ahead. Thank you.
Is Annette here? Usually we do some photos, don't we?
Yeah.
Do the families want to come up? Do we want to join them? I don't know who's the pictures. Do we want to?
I want a picture
Yeah.
with Susan.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Photos. Susan and any family you'd like to bring up, and then Dr.
Go,
Fox.
Lisa.
I'm a picture person too.
We already have.
Oh, there's a. Aw.
This is my good friend, I call her my sister. This is Amanda Ocampo. She too is an educator. This is her son Warren. We're so excited to be part of this family.
Lisa.
Formal. This is like our fourth one together. Thank you. Sorry. Amanda.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Fox and family.
This is my daughter Naomi, who is a proud Mariners Marlin.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. All right, next we have CSEA and NMFT president's comments.
Hi, I didn't print out a piece of paper. I put it in my phone this time. I'm trying to not show my age. So, I might. Good evening, President Ursuelu, trustees, Dr. Smith, cabinet, and guests. I hope that those of you that had a break over the summer are able to come back refreshed and ready for the 60th school year. CSEA wants to welcome all the new employees to Newport-Mesa. CSEA strives to work with the district to create positive work environments that will support student outcomes. While we do not always agree, we appreciate the collaborative work being done to reach those goals. To that measure, CSEA members vote next Wednesday to approve the work that was done for the 26-27 school year. If members agree, we hope that we will have here with you our final TA on your board for the final approval. We look forward to continuing to do the good work for students, staff, and the community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Now we have community input on non-agendized items. Do we have any? No, she told me no. We're headed west. Are there non-agendized? Okay. Clerk Pearson, can you read the?
This is an opportunity for the public to address the board regarding items not on the regular meeting agenda. Comments on non-agenda topics are limited to 3 minutes per comment, up to 20 minutes per topic. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another person. By order of the Brown Act, Section 54954.2, the board will take no action nor have any discussion on non-agendized items. The superintendent may provide clarification during superintendent's comments.
Okay, with that, we have many comments on one topic. So each of the speakers coming up will have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. 2:13. Oh, 2:13. You have another friend speaking, so you're each down to 2:13, sorry. So we will go here with Tiffany. I can't read the last name. Wook? Tiffany Wook, Newport Beach. Can you read that? Tiffany.
It's a beautiful signature, but I can't.
It's very pretty.
Your penmanship is artistic.
No, Tiffany? No? Okay. Then should we move to the next one?
Sure.
Okay, then everybody 2:30?
Sorry, I just stepped in.
Oh.
Oh.
We get to talk about the agenda.
Yeah, 2 minutes, 13 seconds. Come on up. Yes.
I have like 13 seconds to speak, okay.
2 minutes.
Oh, 2 minutes, okay, sorry.
2 minutes, 13.
I'm a parent of Newport-Mesa Unified School District student, and I have current concerns about screen time in classrooms. I know it's a big agenda. Lots of parents have, are here to speak about it as well. As a medical professional, we've seen a lot of studies that are ongoing and also have resulted and have shown significant detrimental effects on mental health, attention span, and upper level problem solving, development in elementary age school children. So like a lot of parents, I think here, I'm here to express my concern with the overuse of technology and screen time in the classroom. There's that component, which lots of people have a lot to say about. Also, just from a physical standpoint, ocular health. So there have been a lot of multiple studies, and in the Society of Ophthalmology, the most recent study quote is that looks at basically how much, in layman's terms, how much screen time is safe, and basically anything over an hour a day shows a direct negative correlation with the development of myopia. So are our kids using screens for more than an hour a day, and then are they asked to use screens for more than an hour, total when they get home? I have 30 seconds. Those are some of our biggest concerns. And then the third topic is, if we're going to have technology in school and screen time, then there needs to be also education on safe screen time and what's safe. Because with the internet, things will pop up. So if we're going to let our kids use screens and technology, then we also have to teach them, what do they do when they see something that is inappropriate or they're not sure, right? Just like we used to have DARE, if someone offers you drugs, by that same component, we have to educate them on what the technology they're using. And it's.
Thank you. Next is Chelsea Cody Waters. Chelsea Cody Waters next.
All right. My name is Chelsea Cody Waters, and I have a son and a daughter at College Park Elementary. We've had a fantastic start to the year, and I'm grateful for TK. Being a big kid has provided a major shift in my son's mentality, and I'd like to personally thank you for getting him dressed independently this morning. I also wanted to speak generally today about technology in schools and its impact on our students. Political leaders from LA to Texas and individual teachers from Minnesota to Kansas are all asking districts to move quickly to limit screen time. This is not a political question, but a humanity issue. As you can see in this room, the concern exists with parents across the district, and I ask you to enact changes to classroom technology use as quickly as when it was agreed that 10-year-olds riding the equivalent of motorcycles to school was a bad idea. My kindergartner received more time on a tablet in 1 week at school than an entire year at home. During a short family trip in first grade, her homework involved almost an hour on the tablet every day. I hated having to choose between teaching her that schoolwork is important, which is a critical family value, and spending time outside learning by engaging with nature and conversation with family. I ask that you reduce one-to-one screen time usage in the classroom quickly, substantially, equally across school sites, and hold those school sites accountable with reporting and monitoring. Particularly in elementary school, we should be spending our time teaching humans how to think. Technology is a tool that needs to be guided by critical thinking, something most 4 to 12-year-olds aren't known for. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Samantha Hayes. Samantha Hayes.
I haven't done this since I've been an administrator. Good evening, Board President, Board members, and Superintendent. My name is Dr. Samantha Hayes, and I'm an educator, former educational administrator with more than 20 years of experience, a Davis Magnet School mom, and a founder of Beyond Screen Families. I'm here tonight because I believe we need to take a serious look at how much screen-based learning has become normalized in our school. I want to start with this question. What has technology displaced? I understand we brought technology in the classroom, and I did too. We were promised customization, personalization, greater access, more engaged learning. There was nothing wrong with that vision, but the evidence says something different now, and we need to change with it. Last year, YouTube stopped working for one day, and my daughter came home and told me about it, and she said something that just made me stop in my tracks. They can't remove it because then my teacher won't have what she needs to teach. When did a website become something that a teacher needs in order to teach? Digital technology and Chromebooks should be a tool, not the classroom. For younger kids especially, the default should be teachers teaching, children writing on paper, reading, talking, building, problem solving, moving their bodies, and learning alongside other human beings. We have more than a decade of research now showing concerns between relationships between digital heavy media and attention, academic performance, sleep, and mental health. So I think we need to ask, if we know more now than we knew when we first put these devices in the classroom, why are we still treating them as the default? Speaking on behalf of myself and other Newport-Mesa parents, we want stronger developmentally appropriate limits on school devices with teacher-led and paper-based hands-on collaborative learning as the default. Chromebooks should be for intentional educational purposes and not the default or a free time activity. Free time should not be about training children to equate boredom or free time with a screen. We also need stronger internet safety guardrails, and I know you have some, but stronger than that, because telling kids to do school-appropriate things just does not work, especially at the younger ages and the older ages. This isn't anti-technology. Our children need to learn to think deeply, communicate face-to-face, solve problems, create, collaborate, and engage with the physical world.
Great. Next is Christina Soji. Christina Soji?
Hello, thank you, and good evening. Thank you for the time. I'm Christina, an Anderson parent, and I'd like to briefly share some of the research behind the concerns you're hearing tonight about Chromebooks and screen time. I know a lot of parents are vocal about this. This isn't simply about parents preferring pencils and paper over technology. There's a growing body of research that gives good reason to question whether more screen-based instruction actually leads to better learning outcomes for our children. For example, the OECD's analysis of PISA in 2020-22 found that 65% of students reported being distracted by digital devices during at least some math lessons, while 59% said that they were distracted by other students using devices. Students who spent 5 to 7 hours a day using digital devices for leisure at school or during school hours also scored 49 points lower in math than students who spent up to 1 hour, even accounting for socioeconomic differences. We see similar concerns with reading. A meta-analysis of 54 studies and more than 170,000 participants found that reading comprehension was better on paper than on screens. As Tiffany mentioned, there is also physical health concerns and ocular health concerns as well. A meta-analysis of a 2025 meta-analysis published in JAMA Network Open involving more than 335,000 people found that additional hour of daily screen time was associated with 21% higher odds of myopia or nearsightedness. None of this means technology doesn't have a place in education. It absolutely does. But I think the research gives us a good reason to be thoughtful and intentional about when technology truly enhances learning, particularly for our youngest students. Lene emailed you a collection of research that includes peer-reviewed studies and institutional reports. I hope the board will take time to review that evidence before deciding what one-to-one devices should play in our children's education. We know that LAUSD has implemented some new restrictions on technology, and we know that Newport-Mesa can too. Thank you.
Next is Linnea Trevino.
Good evening. I'm Linnea Trevino, an Anderson Elementary parent, and I'm here tonight with this group of Newport-Mesa parents who share these same concerns. I want to circle back on the materials that were sent to the board. So we've now received more than 520 signatures on the petition and have received more than 100 survey responses that are very detailed. I hope you've had the chance to review them, and if you haven't, please do. At the core of this is something very simple. We really just want to protect our kids. Schools should not be a place where parents worry about what a 6 or 7-year-old might stumble upon accidentally on the internet. Earlier this year, neuroscientist and educator Dr. Jared Cooney-Horvath testified before the U.S. Senate about educational technology, and this really blew my mind. He pointed out that for most of the 20th century, each generation performed better cognitively than the one before it. But beginning in the mid-2000s, that trend stalled and then reversed. That reversal coincided with a massive digital transformation and one-to-one Chromebooks in class. His testimony also reviews research showing advantages over paper over screens and handwriting over typing in learning. We're not asking Newport-Mesa to eliminate technology, but to use it intentionally. And at a minimum, I hope we'll consider a few things. For younger students, moving to a whitelist internet system, which means only district-approved websites are accessible rather than leaving the whole internet open and just blocking websites one by one. Reduce screen time to lessons and assessments where a device provides a clear educational benefit. Increase physical books, handwriting, pen-to-paper work, and hands-on learning. Make Chromebook screen time reports available to parents so we can track what they're doing. And allow younger students to leave Chromebooks at school overnight unless they're actually needed for homework. Our kids will have their entire lives to use technology. We should protect these early years when they're developing their attention, reading, and learning habits. Thank you.
Next, Elizabeth Swain.
Hello, my name is Liz Swain, and my kids are not of school age yet, but I am here because the use of Chromebooks in elementary schools and schools across Newport-Mesa is very important to me. A lot of the women who have spoken before me have cited really wonderful studies, but I want to speak from my personal experience. I went to McPherson Magnet School back in the early 2000s, which was an early adopter of STEM. We would have computer lab hours, which was wonderful. We were very state-of-the-art. No one else was doing it around us. What I want to point out is that we had computer lab for 1 hour, and the rest of the time we were with teachers, using paper, pens, pencils. I went on to go to Almadena High School, and was not allowed to have a laptop until junior year in an AP English class. Let me tell you, the moment I had that laptop, what do you think I was doing? Surfing the web, using the camera to take photos with my friends in class, which just goes to show in my personal experience, when I had technology limited, it helped. It was wonderful. I learned how to use PowerPoint in the 7th grade. We did podcasts in 8th grade. But then as I progressed in my education and I used technology more, I was distracted more in the classroom. So I just want to say, please, when you guys vote for this in the fall, truly think about everything that we're all saying, because this impacts the future. Our children are the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Jacqueline Crichton.
Hi, good evening. I'm Jacqueline Crichton, and my daughter, I might actually cry. My daughter started at Harborview 2 days ago, and the first thing she came home and told me was that her teacher used the TV 3 times to teach songs. They're taught to bring headphones, and at age 5, she actually observed that her preschool teachers didn't have to teach songs with TVs. Like, why is this happening? When I asked the principal at Harborview, just even before it started, about, what is this about headphones? Chromebooks. My daughter's in kindergarten. He couldn't give me a straight answer. He kind of shrugged it off and said, we're figuring it out. So I stand here as a concerned and confused parent. I've heard all the stats, I've heard the concerns, but I can't even get specifics. Why are we using them? What are the limits? Who's actually making the decisions on when it's being used, how it's being used, what are the limits? Somewhere, somebody's making these decisions and the can keeps getting kicked. Again, I'm just starting kindergarten and I know there are people coming long before me. And sometimes the best way to even maybe get us to, I don't want to say calm down, but giving us answers about the details and specifics is very helpful as a parent rather than just having general concerns. So it also makes me wonder, and I'm going to say it, what are we paying the teachers for? If they're going to use a TV to teach a song that they are paid to do, if they're deferring to a Chromebook, homework, maybe. I'm sure there's some good reasons for this, but there are a lot of things that we pay money for teachers that they really should be doing because they're doing it elsewhere. So I really hope to have some clarity. I hope to have some decisions. And I hear and agree with all the stats. Even our pediatrician the other day was more worried about headphones than Chromebooks because who's monitoring the actual hearing on a kindergartner or older kids, which is unbelievably damaging immediately, let alone aggregate use of Chromebooks. So please consider this when you make the decisions, all the stats, and even just giving us some specifics on what's happening, why, who's making the decisions, the limits, and what power we have as parents for our own children versus having maybe to just go with the flow. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Annie St. Jean Beck.
Hi, my name is Annie St. Jem Beck. I'm an Anderson parent to a third, first, and kindergartner, and we'll have 4 going through the school district soon enough. I'm also a Corona Del Mar 2006 alum. And I'm piggybacking off of Lene's mentioning of the parent survey. We really hope that you will take the time to review every submission in this parent survey. But I did want to call to attention some salient, particularly eye-opening quotes. One parent wrote, "I used to be part of the Google EDU team. I was part of the very team that put Chromebooks in every classroom, and now I'm seeing the error of that strategy." Another parent described her first grader wanting to learn about great white sharks. He typed "great white" into Google during class and ended up reading about the hard rock band Great White, without anyone at the school knowing. Another parent reported a student who figured out how to take a screenshot of the assignment he was supposed to be doing. Whenever the teacher walked by, he would pull up the screenshot so it looked like he was working, and when she walked away, he went right back to playing that game. Kids are tricky, sneaky, yeah. One parent described her child making an ordinary Google search during class and having disturbing, unrelated images appear. You know, this is kind of, these are probably the most common feedback we got, but or that we hear kind of being passed around the sphere. But the child was then told he should have known better. As the parent pointed out, even adults know we cannot predict what a search engine will return. A parent volunteering in a first grade classroom wrote, "He passed all the levels in the video game, including multiplication and division levels, as a first grader, but he can't actually multiply or divide. He's just guessing because he wants to get to the fun part of the video game where you fight the dragon." And one response came directly from an NMUSD student. "I like using a Chromebook for my free time, not learning math, writing, or any other subject, because it's easier to learn it when a teacher is showing how things are done on a whiteboard." The student then added, "I never learned it in the class. I had to learn all my math skills at home. All my friends struggled too." So I hope that you sift through some of these responses, because they really are pretty salient and hit really close to home. Thank you.
Thank you. And now Alexandra Gorab.
Hi, everybody. So many amazing responses that we've heard, so I'll keep this short. I'm Alexandra Gorab. I'm a pediatrician at Chalk, a mom at Anderson Elementary, and a CDM High School alum. Before we share what our families reported, I wanted to note what pediatricians are seeing nationally, myself included. The American Academy of Pediatrics reports that when researchers reviewed studies of children aged 4 to 18, more screen time has been tied to lower scores in reading, math, and overall academic performance. Nationally, only 1 in 3 school-age children stays within the recommended screen time limits, as you've already heard. Thank you so much for listening to all these responses. I just wanted to give my opinion as well as a pediatrician in Orange County. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. And now we have Mr. Rudy Kraus. And you were just here last month, sir, so if this comment is substantially different than what you shared last month, but if it's not.
It's related to it, and I'm drawing the board to its attention and asking you to make a decision on multiculturalism is our greatest strength that I proved to you last time was a lie. You have no justification for your argument. I told you and proved to you that in relation to Islam and Muslims who do not assimilate with the United States, multiculturalism.
Okay. Thank you.
Wait a minute.
That actually doesn't have to do with our school district.
Yes, it does, because you use that statement.
Doesn't.
You use that statement.
No.
Diversity is our greatest strength is your statement.
It's actually not. So we'd like you to stop speaking, please, because it's not pertinent to our school district information. Thank you. It's out of our purview.
Not true.
And next we have superintendent comments.
It is so nice when we have a lineup of speakers and we all totally agree, right? It's not always the case. And I say totally, I mean, does anyone really totally agree on everything? The good news here is, we're hearing from parents and we really appreciate that. And we've heard the same thing from our students. And I think that's important. During the superintendent advisory groups in the last 2 years, and several of the trustees attend, our students have said things like, can we actually read a book, like a real book? Can we write on paper? So this is coming from them as well as parents. I can tell you that while I'm sitting here, my team had the best of intentions, and they're blowing up my phone saying, we agree, we agree, we agree. And so people all over the district watching this live feed, and the folks up here, trustees as well, we agree there's a lot of merit to this. And I think that's demonstrated in the survey and kind of the 8 points that folks are asking for, and the fact the district has either completed or in the process of completing 6 of those 8 things without a conversation with you. It just demonstrates that we are in alignment in a lot of these things, and 2 of the things we can consider. I think the big thing for us is something a couple of you said, and that is that technology can never replace teaching. Technology can never replace teaching, right? We have to be intentional and appropriate with the use of technology. And that's why our board has given us the authority to put together a work group. We have parents from each of the trustee zones. Not every school, because we have so many schools. As it turns out, several of you self-identified as Anderson parents. We have an Anderson parent on our work group. So that research and the information will be in that room that some of you have referenced and shared, and other. We'll have teachers involved in the work group. We'll have students involved in the work group. We'll have district office staff involved in the work group. We'll have IT in that space, and we've invited some researchers as well to come, so that conversation is informed by our parents, students, staff, and the experts in the field. And we're excited about that. One of the parents encouraged us to go fast, to be quick about it. I don't know what that is. It's a relative term. I can say that I think they referenced the electric bike conversation, which was multi-month, starting with the workshop that we did, the board study session. Our commitment to the board is to have a recommendation to them by the October board meeting. That's 2 board meetings out. I don't know if that's quick or fast to folks in the room, and I respect your right to disagree. In education, that's pretty fast. And so we're going to have that as the timeline for that one. I think some of the things that were said that were really important too, the safety aspect, you know, we do have filters. We can do more with that, as was pointed out. We also have to, and I really appreciated this comment, we have to teach students how to be safe. We have to teach families how to be safe. I've said this before. I was in a podcast last year talking about internet safety at home and what can we do to include some parent education around that, because our students know so much more, no offense to our parents in the room or those watching with advanced degrees, et cetera, but our kids just know a lot about these things. And so how do we bring everybody along to provide this greater measure of safety? We do, by the way, someone mentioned tracking our Chromebook screen time. The Go Guardian app is available to all parents, and we are trying to make that more available, more well-known, where parents can set it up where they can see exactly how much screen time their students are spending and put limits on out-of-school time. Now, that's not the only answer, but that is an answer. What I'm saying is we agree. We need to protect our students, and there are some things we're doing, some more things that can be done. The one-to-one issue, it was really exacerbated by the pandemic and folks trying to open schools, and we opened schools with one-to-one devices. It was a practical solution to an impractical reality, right, that we all had to live through. And so we're unwinding that now, and we started in the district winding back the one-to-one devices in TKK, and now we're at full implementation of TK through 2, not having one-to-one devices, having carts instead, and those devices not going home, staying in the cart. That's just one thing, but it's a thing that I think demonstrates that we're moving in that direction. And if you're in a classroom where that's not happening, let us know, because maybe we haven't made that clear. We have a duty as administrators to make sure that we're making the board's direction and our processes clear to staff, so we'll do that. So let us know, but that is the direction that we're headed in that regard. We're excited about this group coming together. There are parallel tracks that will happen with this work group. The first, because of the sensitivity to time that the board shares as well, by the way. We're going to focus on the screen time and that issue really first, give some feedback to the board. But the work group, we're going to continue to work throughout the year to get to a recommendation to the board on the intentional, appropriate use of technology, which is, for me, and this is my personal opinion, even more important. Because how we're using the technology, to me, is more important than how much time. Both are important. We've really got to wrestle with when should we be using it. And some of you mentioned that, so I don't think we're disagreeing at all. And so that's an important thing for the board to be weighing in on as well. But we're going to take more time to get to that. But that will be done this year. So this year as well, we'll resolve in the next 2 board meetings a recommendation around screen time. We'll move forward and do more about technology and how we use it, when and how often, right? So we're excited to do that. I think we agree much more than we disagree, if we disagree at all. We'll keep you posted. Board meeting in October, you're welcome to come, right? You can speak then as well. Again, more people that speak, the less amount time you have. Math thing, 20 minutes total. But we'd love to have you and come and hear what the board hears, and then they'll be able to deliberate in that regard. And we're excited, really excited to do this work. So thank you to everyone that made this a priority, student safety a priority, and for coming out to our board meeting tonight.
Okay, yes, go Guardian. It's very useful. Next is, and I apologize if my comments were very sharp early. I am battling a nasty stomach bug right now, so I'm going to last as long as I can last at this meeting, but everybody carry on. Next, Clerk Pearson reads the statement for the community input on agendized items.
This is an opportunity for the public to address the board regarding items on the regular meeting agenda. Comments on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per comment, up to 20 minutes per topic. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another person. Speaker cards for items on the discussion action calendar may be held until that item is considered by the board if the speaker prefers.
Great. And so we have some folks, did you want to speak now or right before your items? We have a Chelsea Cody Watts. Do you want to speak now or before your item? Okay.
Thrilling consent calendar today. So, hi, I'm Chelsea Cody Waters, go to College Park. As many of you know, that last year parents from College Park were very interested in expanding our after-school homework and tutoring help for our students that needed a little extra practice, attention, and time to catch up in math and reading. We were so happy when after-school math help was provided to some students that needed it most, even at the end of the school year last year. And we're glad to see the contract this year to add reading support for after-school with the Vanguard students as well. These tutors will help our students learn critical life skills with math and reading, promote higher test scores, and help advertise College Park as a true place to be for all the families in our zone. So, thank you.
Next, we have item 16, achievement, report from Student Services on resources for success, well-being, and belonging.
Yeah, we're going to invite up Sarah Coley, who will be sharing the resources that the board has supported schools with and the things that we have at each site and as a district to make sure that students are safe, really in every aspect of that word.
Great. All right, good evening, President Ursoilu, trustees, Superintendent Smith. I'm honored to be here tonight on behalf of Student Services. Again, I'm Sarah Coley, the Administrative Director of Student Services, and I work closely with our Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Carrie Torres. So really to get us started, you know, in Student Services, we, as many others do in our district, ground our work and all of our students are all of our students. And so we really focus on how we can help to support our students feel seen, heard, supported, and safe from the Student Services lens. And you've seen this document over the last few years as well, our collective beliefs, and so really highlighting that the work that we do in Student Services helps to hopefully contribute to our students feeling a sense of belonging on our campuses, as well as positive behavior and student safety. So in Student Services, we have a lot. We cover a lot of different areas of responsibility. And tonight we're really focusing on the safety and well-being and focusing on how we, again, in Student Services and the teams that we work with can help to cultivate that sense of belonging and that well-being for our students. So on our team, we have myself, as well as I have an extraordinary group of coordinators who support the work in the sites directly. So we have Angela Allen Hess, who's our coordinator of child welfare and attendance, Dr. Jennifer Pina, who is our coordinator of Student Services who focuses on secondary, as well as Paula Litz, who's our coordinator of Student Services who focuses on elementary. So within the work that we do, we work with a variety of different people, including our site administrators, we work with our teachers, but really wanting to focus on the work that our counselors, our behavior specialists, and our social workers do. I do want to point out, I know that the font is small here. These infographics are on our website, so people can take a closer look at them. You can click on them, they'll expand. You can see them in all their glory. But it really is a lot of work, and this group of people really is extraordinary at the work that they do daily to support our students. So thinking of our behavior specialists, this group has a background as school psychologists. They really are supporting our students who have higher level behavior needs. They're working closely with our parents, providing student support. They're part of our PBIS teams and work in our MTSS work, in addition to staff development and parent education, and they do work through Student Services. We also have our elementary counselors, which we know this board made the investment. We're going into our 6th year of elementary counselors, which is really great. We're really proud of the work that these folks do. We're going into our 4th year of full-time elementary counselors. So again, thank you for the investment in our elementary age students and having these counselors there full-time. These individuals support our students, working closely with our parents. They help to support PBIS, restorative practices, parent education. They provide collaboration with our teachers. They're in the classrooms working side by side to help support our students. And they really do provide a high level of support to some of our neediest kids. Then we have our school social workers who are working not only with our students, but with our families. So they are working alongside our parents to help support some of the most complex cases that we have in the district. They also collaborate with our school personnel, as well as with the teams and the teachers, to really help our students who have some really high-level needs be successful at school. So give the face to a name. We have all of our counselors, again, who are extraordinary folks. We've got our CDM team, our Costa Mesa team, our team at Estancia, our team at Newport in the Newport Harbor Zone. We also have our behavior specialists who, again, you'll remember they have their background in school psychology. They're working with some of our highest level behavior needs. Our social work team, again, who is working with some of the most complex cases that we have in this district. We also wanted to show you a little bit too about the impact that these individuals have had, and this is over this last school year. So you'll see we have everything from our individual counseling referrals, but then looking to our students who've received counseling, of course, with parent consent. We don't work with students on that individual basis without working closely with their parent and getting consent from them to do so. They facilitate groups. They facilitate group sessions, again, with parent consent. They do lunch bunches. They're in the classrooms with our teachers. They're helping with risk screenings and restorative practices and parent presentations. And so they really do provide a high level of service, really at that tier 2 level for our students. And again, are supporting our teachers as well as our site administration. Our behavior specialists, again, they're working closely with our families and with our students. They're helping when we have MTSS referrals, so they're getting more involved at the tier 2 level, moving into the tier 3 level when we have some more of the intensive needs. They're consulting with our teachers, they're working closely with our counselors, and really helping to provide more individualized support for our students. And then our school social workers, again, they're working very closely with our families. They also support, we have social work interns who are working, again, just to help expand that mental health work. They're working primarily in our secondary schools. They support with the intensive student support protocol, which is our students who have high-level mental health needs. They're in meetings, again, risk screenings, student support, and again, working closely with our families and making sure that we have that partnership with them. So all of this work wouldn't be possible without our community partnerships. Now, this is absolutely not representative of all the partnerships that we have in this district. These are specific to the contracts and MOUs that we have through student services who are helping to support this work. And we really wanted to call out, just from the lens of well-being and belonging, Confluence Rising, Project Kinship, and Let's Be Kind. So Confluence Rising is a new partnership you may recall that we approved, or you approved, that will focus on middle school students and cultivating student belonging and combating hateful speech. Our Project Kinship partnership helps to provide support and training to students who have been impacted by gang influences and violence through hope, healing, and belonging. And then Let's Be Kind, which is our school-connected activities. Again, you may recall we have a student at Costa Mesa who started Let's Be Kind years ago, and we continue to have a close partnership with her and her mom to bring the Let's Be Kind program to our schools. So our major initiatives that we had from student services last year, we all have talked about bike safety a lot. We've had a really successful start of the year with our bike safety efforts, and we're really proud of that work. PBIS, we had 27 schools apply for state recognition this year, which is really exciting. So all 22 of our elementary schools, as well as 5 secondary. Our cell phone policy, student discipline, and having alternatives. We had over 250 students served through our alternative to suspension program this last year, which we're really proud about, as well as our belonging work. So something new and exciting that you'll see on the agenda for this evening for your review and hopefully approval will be that we'll be moving into a proposed character development pilot for this next school year. We're looking at Wayfinder and Second Step, and more information to come, but our process included a variety of stakeholders coming together to vet through many different products, and this is where our staff landed. This work will, of course, be grounded in the attributes that we're looking at for Portrait of a Graduate, as well as belonging and PBIS. So with all of that, thank you again for the support that you've provided to student services over the years. We couldn't do this without you. These folks are definitely grateful for you. This is our elementary counselors and behavior specialists and social workers last week for the beginning of school year PD, and we really are appreciative and grateful for everything that you do for us and the support that you've provided for us. So thank you for your support, and I welcome any questions.
Thank you. Trustees, any questions? Trustee Wiegand?
Yes, thank you. I have one question, which I'm happy to see. This new program called Confluence Rising about middle schools. Can you tell me a little bit more about that program and how it's going to work?
Absolutely. So we'll be working closely with our middle schools. We've already started some of those meetings after the contract was approved. We'll be helping to build student leaders and really student agency to help be out on campus, again, to help combat that hateful speech. You know, the language that we hear on a lot of our middle school campuses is certainly not aligned with what we would like to see for our students. And so they'll be working together with the principals and with the student leadership groups to really build activities and different things that they can do on the campus to help cultivate a really positive learning environment.
Okay, so this gives our middle school students things to do, and it's kind of like a peer-to-peer.
It's similar to that, and we're still working out some of those details, but it is very similar to that, where they'll be working with and really giving them some guidance to help with that leadership as they go onto the school campus.
That's great. I love giving them things to do because we, take away almost like their playgrounds and then their cell phones and things like that, and then they have to be kids, right? And sometimes that doesn't always happen correctly. So I love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Crane?
So having taught middle school for about 15 years off and on, middle school typically gets neglected. The kids are kind of caught in the middle. And so I love seeing the fact that you are fulfilling this need and that you recognize the fact that we need to fill that space with some good mentorship. So as far as execution, are you thinking are you taking on to ASB, PAL, because different campuses have different groups that are already leaders on campus, but not necessarily student government. And then also we have campuses that are 7 to 12 and also 7-8 campuses exclusively. So are you definitely looking at that intentionally that way?
Absolutely.
Share some of that.
Sure. And Dr. Torres can get you some more information on exactly what we're doing, because as you know, we've had a lot of movement over the summer with our secondary leadership. And so now that people are settling into the beginning of the school year, we will be connecting with them to make sure that we're targeting the right group of students to help be those student leaders and to provide that mentorship. And then make sure that we're setting it up for success. So there's more to come as we really get this launched and going. And so I'll make sure that I share with Dr. Torres and we can follow up with some more details.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trustee Anderson?
As you know, I'm really excited and I have always been pleased to see the infographics about the elementary counselors specifically, but also the 3 that just show the designations that are available, particularly for our teachers. And I saw we have so many new teachers that started this year.
Yes.
How do they get each of these in their classrooms, on the wall? Did they get trained in that? Because we know, oftentimes they're the first point of contact the teacher needs to know right away. Oh, there's an elementary counselor that is available to me.
Sure.
So I just wanted to learn a little bit more about that
At the
training.
elementary levels, it really is. They do staff meetings and they're all together. So the crossover of positions and support is happening all the time. And teachers really see the counselors and the behavior specialists more than social workers. So social workers is kind of at a peak crisis level, but see them as partners. And it really is through the PBIS teams and the intervention teams on the campus that they talk about those level of resources and when to bring them in. But we are happy that counselors and others are regular members of staff. Everybody knows who everybody is. Those relationships professionally are important. So you can have those conversations both formally and informally about students and families and how to help them in the classroom, and when we can't, resources for outside of the classroom.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, I know it's a little unique for us because a lot of districts only offer it for students with special needs. So I would just love to make sure that all of our newer teachers know that it's also for general ed.
And we'll have someone coming up talking about induction programs. So
that's true.
Taking quick notes about all the things we can do with new teachers.
Yeah. We are definitely the envy amongst many colleagues that we have full-time elementary counselors at our sites. So we're really proud of that. So thank you again.
Thank you. That leads into my second question about the social worker support. It looks like they have, I know we have 4 main social workers for each of our zones and then 1 for alternative ed. And it looks like over 2,000 consultations happened last year. Do we, which is amazing because I know that support is invaluable. Do we ever, we've had 1 for each zone for quite some time. Is there, how do we evaluate, maybe one zone needs 2 or maybe all of the zones need 2 now based on the numbers? how do you guys make those decisions?
Sure. So we did add an additional social worker. I don't know.
And first of all, Jeff has to give us permission.
Tracy's
been very clear. We're going to be very intentional about how we spend our money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to add more. We did add one additional social worker 2 years ago to really serve our alt ed communities, and so she works specifically with Back Bay, Monte Vista, and early college. And the rationale for that was that we were seeing a higher level of need at those schools. That really was, it was becoming hard for our staff to be able to divide and feel like they were satisfactorily accommodating all of the needs that were present. And so by adding her, it helped to alleviate in some of our highest need zones. And so now the team really is working to, triage and try to support as best as they can. The social work interns have also been really critical in that work. So we have 5 social work interns this year. We just met last week with them as well. They're first years. They're very excited and enthusiastic. I hope I didn't break their spirit with all of my stories, but we're really looking forward to having them and being able to help bring along the next group of professionals. And so we're excited to invest in them as well. But they've also helped just with the capacity building to be able to provide some additional, they're not working on our highest need cases, but certainly learning and working with some of the cases that we feel like are appropriate.
We're very fortunate that when we have a larger scale crisis at any one school, the team comes together, multiple people serve. It's not about what zone you're in when the need is that high for a short period of time for a large group of students. We've had that occasionally where there's an incident that really needs a big wraparound, and so they come, not just as a singleton, but they come as a group and are able to quickly serve a large scale of students and families at one time.
That's perfect. That leads into my next question, actually, because I know we do an amazing job with our threat assessments, and I know that's one, safety and well-being, where it really brings in our community partnerships, crisis response, mental health, suicide prevention, and risk screening, and that is all housed in your office.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit more about that and how that works on a practical basis?
Sure. So more about the specifics of each kind of different process. Sure. So starting with threat assessment, threat is always going to be threat to others. So we're talking about threats of likely school violence or some sort of altercation. It can be everywhere from something out on the soccer field that's said impulsively to maybe some concerning drawings or writings or things that may have come about. And you may recall when we did our school safety task force, I think it was about 5 years ago now, we adopted CSTAG, which is the only evidence-based school threat assessment protocol that's available. So we adopted that at that time. We trained our staff, and then every year we hold another training just for new staff or for people who would like a refresher. And then we do that through the OC SMART team, who comes and provides that training for us. So it's a very formal protocol. It's admin-led. The mental health professionals only get involved when it starts to feel like there might be a mental health component to it, but really administrators are starting and getting everything kind of going, and then they would bring those professionals in later. Crisis response is going to be when we've experienced a tragedy. Unfortunately, last year we had a number of crisis responses that we had to facilitate. We work closely with the Orange County Crisis Response Network, so it's through OCDE. They'll come out and help to support us as well, but that really is when we have a student who's passed, a staff member who's passed, or a parent who was very important to that school community and very involved. And so I think last year, we did a number of them. I can get you the specifics, but I know of at least 6 that were really high need, where we had a lot of people involved. And as Socorro said, our team all comes together. It's kind of, they know when they get that call, they're canceling their days, and they're going to be available to come out and to support our students. And then risk screening is when we have threats to self. So that's risk to self, self-harm, suicidal ideation. So we use our risk screening protocol, and these teams are the ones who are on the front lines of that. So they're following, we use the Columbia. It's a protocol that is used to screen for suicide assessment, and so they'll be doing those assessments, and then they consult with another mental health provider.
Thank you so much. There's so much that's in student services.
Yes.
We really appreciate you. My last question is about the character development pilot, which is exciting.
Yeah.
How will that be rolled out? Is that sometimes we only do things in one zone? Are we doing that in multiple zones at a school in each of them? Is that elementary only? What is that look
It will be elementary only. We're still finalizing some of the logistics. We didn't want to get too ahead of ourselves since it's on the agenda for tonight, but we're really excited. So if that happens, we're ready to go. But all zones will be represented, all grade levels will be represented, and we'll make sure that it's across the district and really a cross-section of our schools who have different communities and different school cultures and climates, so that we really are getting an accurate representation of what these products can potentially do to impact our students.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Next up, we have item 17, report on school.
Oh, your light just,
It's okay. Thank you. I mean, I love seeing the stats on the counselors. And I love walking on campus. I mean, it really is an extra person on campus that are there for our children, which is amazing. I also love walking on campus and seeing them working with children just on leadership skills. A lot of them are running PAL, ASB. They're starting ASBs at the schools, which I think is fantastic. My question is, the individual counseling referrals were 720, and then, but the actual students that were actually seen individually were 439. So that's about a 300 person. So where is that because parents aren't consenting? What is going on there?
It's a variety of reasons, and so it could be that the parent changes their mind and they no longer want the student to see the school counselor, and so they've asked us not to, which of course we wouldn't proceed. It could be that we gave them the counseling form and the parent didn't return it, and so we don't proceed. It could be the student needs a different type of service and the family has decided to go to outside counseling versus something school-based, because really what we're offering is counseling versus therapy, which is what some students need, right? So we don't provide therapy in schools, and what we are able to provide is something that's very short-term, generally 6 to 8 weeks, and it's something that is a barrier to the student accessing their education. So there has to be a lot of components where it's connecting to their experience at school, but really we have to have that parent consent and that parent partnership before we'll move forward, and so that's why you see that discrepancy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
17A, report on school safety.
Thank you. I'm going to invite Jonathan Wilby, our Director of Risk Management, up to lead our presentation. This is an information-only presentation, which we hope you find beneficial, and it is specifically more so for our camera system. So when we say school technology, it's specifically our camera system.
Okay, give us 1 second for a quick technology change. And while Awesome does that, I'm just going to say thanks for the introduction. Good evening, President Ursulou, trustees, Dr. Smith, guests. Before we get too far into the technology, I do want to recognize that what I'm presenting tonight really does go back to that same, school safety task force that Sarah discussed earlier. That school safety task force, the technology that you're seeing today that I'm going to talk about really has been a culmination of that. That the school safety task force back 5 years ago had brought together groups from risk management, from student services, principals, certificated and classified staff, campus safety, parents, students, local law enforcement and fire department personnel to focus on improving safety throughout the district. And that work led to the adoption of the I Love You Guys Standard Response Protocol and Standard Reunification Method. WeTip 2.0 is our anonymous tip line. CSTAG is our threat assessment model. And our partnership with Orange County Intelligence Assessment Center, who came into all of our sites and did vulnerability assessments. The vulnerability assessments led to several of the physical security projects that you're seeing being carried out throughout the district today, including the camera system, security window film, and fence privacy screening projects that you're seeing at some of our sites. So tonight's discussion, we're going to focus on one of those layers of security, which is school safety technology. I'm going to present you with an overview of the different school safety technology platforms that we're using right now, including Genetec and Centegix. And we're also going to talk about a proposed platform, which is Fusus, which has been proposed as an addition from the Newport Beach Police Department that they utilize in their real-time crime centers. This presentation is for information only, so there's no action that's going to be taken tonight. And any future related items we'd end up bringing back to you to take action in the future. I've got all sorts of reinforcement behind me, so I do want to point that out, that at the end of the presentation, we do have a lot of technical experts in the room. We have Joe Monaco from Genetech. We have Ken Nunez from Centegix. We have Jacob Neeson from Fusus. We have Lieutenant Miller from the Newport Beach Police Department. And we also have Deputy Chief Randall from the Newport Beach Police Department. So this review focused on one specific question that we kind of tried to center everything around. And that is, does adding an additional platform, Fusus, materially improve emergency response beyond what Newport-Mesa's planned Genetech and Centegix deployment already provide? This review doesn't advocate for or against any of the systems. We really tried to just lay out facts and information and give you information so that future discussions and decisions can kind of center around more technical knowledge and information that you have. This slide shows the district's current and proposed technology at a really high level. So Genetech is the district's central platform, unifying live and recorded video from approximately 2,100 Bosch cameras across every site. It's also the platform that future security enhancements will integrate through, so all the systems will function and complement each other. And I really want to highlight that a lot of intention was put behind putting together the I guess, technology standards and also the selection of these systems to make sure that they don't operate as independent systems, so they all operate as one integrated systems. And that is a mistake that you see some corporations and some groups make, is they treat them all separately and then they don't work and talk to each other. A lot of them have proprietary components that you can only use this camera or you can only use this electronic access. And then when you start trying to integrate the systems with each other, they all operate separately. So we put a lot of intention behind picking a platform that has non-proprietary items and that we can really build off of in the future. Centegix Crisis Alert is the district's wearable panic button and emergency alerting system that has been installed at our sites over the summer and been implemented at the beginning of this school year. It is a wearable panic button. I've got one right here on my badge. And it also is an alerting system that schools can use. It allows site personnel to press the panic button in different ways, a 3-button push or an 8-button push, and notify a site response team that they have an emergency. A 3-button push lets them know that they have an emergency they need assistance with. If they keep pushing the button and get to 8 times, it basically is a lockdown alert to say, we have an immediate threat on campus that everyone needs to know about, and it automatically initiates a lockdown at that site. The, sorry, go back here. The way that notifications or alerts are communicated to staff and students at a site is through strobes. So you have some strobes here in the boardroom that are the Centegix strobes. It's integrated with a PA system, so there are pre-recorded alerting messages for the standard response protocol actions that would be communicated out when an action is initiated. And there are also desktop takeovers. So every desktop in the school would have an alert pop up on the desktop to notify the staff in that classroom or in that office that there is an alert that's being initiated. Fusus is not licensed or operated by the district at this time. It's a platform Newport Beach Police Department utilizes in their real-time crime center. I want to emphasize that Fusus connects directly to our existing Bosch cameras, and it would run in parallel with Genetech. Fusus requires the purchase and installation of additional equipment called Fusus cores that connect with the cameras to integrate into the city's real-time crime center. It doesn't integrate directly with Genetech. It's not a replacement for Genetech, and Genetech would remain the district's video management system under any scenario that this review kind of goes through. Genetech currently provides district-wide video management, configurable event detection, and alert routing that is being specified by site and time of day. So during the school hours and after hours, school hour alerts would go to pre-identified staff, And after-hour alerts can go to other staff, or it can go to security companies or additional responders that would be responsible for looking into those alerts after hours. I want to highlight a couple of points of existing access here, since they are important for comparison as we look at the different systems later on. Right now, our police dispatchers have direct standing connection to the district cameras today through Genetec. And we're currently working to add their ability to access camera maps so that they would see a map of each site and where the cameras are located to help them navigate that. Right now, they have a list of cameras that they navigate to get to the camera that they're looking for. Secondly, the school resource officers have access to a mobile application, a Genetec mobile application that gives them access to live video via cell phone mobile applications. Additional officers could have access to that. It would take creating additional accounts for them to have access to the live video feeds, but right now the school resource officers all have access. Fusus is a different category of tool. Again, it's not a camera system, it's not a replacement for Genetec, but it's a real-time crime center platform that the police department operates. For law enforcement, it's a generally well-designed system. It brings cameras and other feeds such as traffic cameras, drone cameras, enrolled private cameras, officer body cameras, school district cameras, together under a single map, sometimes referred to as a single pane of glass. And Newport Beach Police Department's dispatchers already find the interface familiar, they use it on a daily basis, and it's easy to use. They don't have to learn an additional system. It's fundamentally a tool built for law enforcement's own operations, not a district system. This table lays the two systems side by side, Genetec and Fusus. And it tries to use the same categories for both, so it's as much of an apples to apples comparison as we can give you. You'll notice that most of the rows describe two different ways of really trying to accomplish something similar. The most meaningful operational distinction is the last row, which is live video to responding officers, where Genetec today provides that through school resource officers having the mobile application, and that could be expanded to additional officers or different additional police department personnel if additional accounts were made. Fusus extends that same live viewing through what's called the Fusus Ops app. It expands live viewing more broadly to additional responding officers. Having stripped away everything that overlaps between the two systems, this is what stands out as Fusus' distinct value. I'll say again, these are benefits to law enforcement's own operations specifically, dispatcher familiarity with an interface they already use on a daily basis, one consolidated map pulling in many sources of video, including traffic cameras, drones, body cameras, private camera feeds, school district cameras, etc. And it does it in a way that Genetec can't reproduce. So Genetec can't integrate with the law enforcement CAD system or dispatch system. So because of that, they have to navigate a Genetec system. When an incident is created in Fusus, it starts to surface or populate cameras closest to that incident right there on the single pane of glass. It makes it very user-friendly for law enforcement to access those cameras without dispatch needing to manually navigate to the right camera. For an emergency response today with Genetec and Centegix, this is a very kind of simplified response flow of what it looks like for law enforcement. So the first thing is they need to be notified of an incident. That can take place by a 911 call, it could take place by a Centegix lockdown alert, or it can take place from a radio communication from another officer or a school resource officer saying we have a problem. The dispatcher creates an incident in their CAD system. Dispatch pulls up district camera feeds manually through the Genetec system and navigates through the cameras they're looking to find. Dispatch relays what they see verbally and through CAD notes to responding officers. Officers with the Genetec mobile app would have access to direct video themselves like SROs right now, and officers without the Genetec mobile app respond without live video on scene. So they're arriving and they are gathering situational awareness when they arrive on scene. With the Fusus integration, a lot is similar, that there still needs to be notification of an incident. Fusus itself doesn't monitor cameras and say that I'm seeing some kind of activity that ends up being an incident. It does take notifying law enforcement that there is an incident. Dispatch still creates a CAD event, an incident in the system. Fusus automatically starts to surface nearby cameras into the single pane of glass right there in the dispatch and real-time crime center. Dispatch and responding officers have live access to cameras and video while they respond. Officers respond with live situational awareness, and they respond with visual context established. We engaged Parker and Covert to help us kind of analyze the legal and privacy concerns that could be around providing access to a district camera system. And there are several types of concerns that, that should be evaluated further. Some of those include FERPA privacy and also potential collective bargaining. The one that really does stand out is that Ed Code 49076 does permit camera access during an active emergency. So if there is life safety type of concerns, that camera access and providing that camera access to law enforcement would help to minimize, then that Ed Code does allow sharing of camera access during incidents. Access control, audibility, and cost. So this is an important governance slide that I want to take some time walking through. Under Genetec, the district controls all access permissions. And we do that directly, and we can revoke access at any time. There are accounts set up in Genetec. We can give access, we can remove access. Genetec access is not technically restricted to instant use only. It doesn't integrate with the CAD system. It doesn't know what's an instant, what's not an instant, so it doesn't have the ability to do that. It does have the ability that we can go in and audit and pull out audit logs to see activity within the system and activities specific under any account to find out if activity is in alignment with instance and if there is no unusual activity which is being done. What Fusus allows, and we just confirmed this recently with both Fusus and Newport Beach Police Department, is that Fusus does live on, basically the district has our own Fusus account, and we have our own Fusus platform. So we control the access to Fusus, and we also have direct access to the logs for Fusus. So on our system, we would be able to go and say, instant-only access is allowed for any integration that we do from our cameras into Fusus and have direct control over that integration so that it is only turned on when an incident does occur. We also have audit logs that we can go through, and we can audit that activity and audit that the system is actually working the way it's designed to work. I also want to address cost directly because there is a cost for the system. Whether that's incurred by the district, where there's a cost sharing agreement put in place, there is a cost to the district. For a Newport Beach Police Department jurisdiction, for our schools, it roughly is 800 to 900 cameras. So the estimated cost is $20,000 for a Fusus system for our 800 to 900 cameras. If it was a district-wide deployment, it would be about $48,000 per year. For Newport Beach alone, is $20,000 per year. Those figures cover Fusus equipment and licensing only, not installation or implementation costs. And that is for the Fusus cores as well as the subscription, the annual license agreement for the Fusus cores. This slide shows how the three systems actually connect and start to integrate with each other. So Genetec has a integration with Centegix for video. And what that would do is if there was a Centegix alert, it would notify Genetec that there is an alert at a specific site. And through Genetec, Genetec can be integrated with Centegix so that Genetec starts to basically aim cameras and bring up cameras that are in the direct area that that alert took place. It also has an integration with access control. So based on that integration, if a Centegix alert is initiated, let's say it's a lockdown or a secure alert, through Genetech. Genetech can start taking actions like locking this door, locking this gate, and starting taking action based on those types of alerts. Centegix also has a integration that we're finalizing right now with law enforcement dispatch, that if there is a lockdown alert, it automatically notifies law enforcement that there's a lockdown at a specific school. That speeds up law enforcement's response to start dispatching units even before a 911 call is made to them. Centegix also has an integration that's possible with Fusus, which would be if there is a Centegix alert that's initiated, it can go and give access to and start to surface cameras near that Centegix alert to law enforcement in their Fusus system to start to surface cameras nearest where the lockdown or where the alert initiated from. And kind of circling back to where we started and revisiting the central question, does adding Fusus materially improve emergency response beyond what Newport-Mesa's planned Genetech and Centegix deployment already provides? So for Newport Beach PD, there are some specific benefits, which is the dispatcher familiarity with the platform, one map combining multiple types of camera feeds on one single pane of glass, and automatic camera surfacing on a CAD event when the CAD event is initiated. For Newport-Mesa Unified School District, there is the benefit that it does create direct district control over viewing permissions, making it instant only, and only providing that access when an instant is initiated. So like I said earlier, there's no action that is being taken tonight. We do have technical experts from Genetech, from Fusus, from Centegix, and also representatives from Newport Beach Police Department here to answer any questions. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for this. I mean, we've been asking for this Fusus presentation for the past 3 or 4 months because we know that it is going to better our system. And after listening to your report, I know this district said it was neutral, but after listening to this, Fusus, we're just adding Fusus. We're not taking away anything. And it's helping us, it's helping the coordination between the police and our schools. I mean, it's going to save lives. And I just feel like I just feel like it's something that we can't not do. And the other thing is the money. I've been told by the city that the city's paying for that they are funding it. Am I correct?
And the core costs.
I mean, we're told that that's not, that they are funding it because they already have the platform.
Can I speak?
They have
Can we
mentioned that.
pull up?
Huh?
They have mentioned that in a recent email.
Yeah, I don't think it's just, I think it's for sure. I think the
officer knows.
officer, yeah, Randall or Miss Little, right? Officer Little.
Can you speak to the cost element?
Lieutenant Miller, sorry.
Hi, officer. Can you speak to the cost element only? Thank
Absolutely, yeah. Today I heard from our mayor, Lauren Kleiman, that all costs incurred for the installation and ongoing subscription fees will be paid for by the city of Newport Beach.
So all implementation costs that were referred to by Mr. Willie?
Yes, ma'am.
So it would be zero cost at all to the district ever?
I don't want to overspeak, but that's, in sum, that's what I was told by the mayor, so.
Good. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I have another
Trustee
question.
McElroy, do you have a?
Yeah, I have a question. I got to see the real-time Fusus, and you were with me, right? Were you in there?
Yes,
Yes, Emily's. So I know, I guess we couldn't do that tonight for probably security purposes, you know, to give away how great it is. Is there a way that we could set up where you could privately, and I don't know if this is okay, Wes, if they could privately show, I mean, it's absolutely incredible, and this is only for a safety, it's an instantaneous, only 911 type call, and boom, it's all right there. We would be saving, you know, SRO, people's lives instantaneous. Is that correct? And is it something that you guys could show us, or Fusus could show us privately, so that others that haven't seen it can see it?
Anytime, I'd love to, anytime.
I think it's really important to understand how amazing this is.
And I do know just, lots of advantages. I know we just finished an API with Centegix too, and I don't know if Centegix can speak to that, but it was just this past week. So what the beauty about Fuse is that it adds the more layers and the more programs that are ingested into it, the better the program gets. And TJX is one example that it keeps getting better. So yeah, anytime I love to kind of demonstrate the program for you.
Any further questions, Trustee Nakora, before we move to Trustee Crane? Yeah.
Oh, from me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would love to hear from the owner. I mean, just all the people from the different, but it might not be important right now. You know, we have our, you know, we're kind of, some of them is apples to oranges because, you know, one is not visual. They're all kind of different, and I feel like this makes it sound like they're the same, but they're actually totally different. And all three of them would be very beneficial for the safety of our students. So I wish we could hear from the people from each company, just because I feel like it gives us a better understanding, but I don't know our time constraints. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, I think let's hear from the other trustees and keep going this way. Right now, it's for us to sort of deliberate in public our thoughts on what we just saw, rather than hear from every different corporation that's here. But maybe at a future time we could do that. But today, if we can hear from Trustee Crane next, your questions, and then Trustee Wygant. And I just want to first address one item that I saw on the slide that wasn't mentioned, Mr. Wilby, the little asterisk there, that there are no published studies or data that measure the actual effect on emergency response outcomes. So you forgot to read that. So I just wanted to make sure it's out into the public space for those at home on TV land. Trustee Crane and then Wygant, I believe.
Yeah, I have a technical question. So I know that when we began integrating our AI surveillance cameras, and it took a little longer because we're having some technical difficulties with our servers. And so we're hearing about this because they're AI generated, right? This is all. So by adding fuses, if we were to add fuses to our systems, are our servers able to handle the volume of one extra platform that we're going to integrate?
I think we need to look into the servers themselves, and I will point out that there were some potential concerns, or at least something that should be looked into, that Genetech brought up about basically now having Genetech and Fuses both integrating into the same cameras.
Right.
So I do want to acknowledge that this is a very good system. They all run in parallel with each other. They all support each other between Centegix, Genetech, and Fuses. But integrating into the same cameras, we would want to further evaluate if that would put a strain on the cameras.
Is there someone technical here that could speak to that?
Joe, can you speak on the on that?
You are with Genetech.
Yeah, my name is Joe Monaco. I'm with Genetech. Pardon me, President Ursulu, Superintendent, Dr. Smith, members of the board. Happy to be here today and happy to answer any questions you have. So as it relates to your current camera system that's running Genetech, so you're basically pulling in 2,100 camera streams from all over the district and all of the different schools and all of your different buildings into the Genetech software. If you were to adopt the Fuses software, it's my understanding that those same 2,100 camera streams would essentially be duplicated into a Fuses core and then sent over to the police department. As that relates to server load and some of these other questions and the situation that we've resolved, as that relates to AI and all this stuff happening in the background, it's my understanding that adopting Fuses wouldn't increase any of that load on your servers, since that would be a load on just your network over the cables that are sending those camera streams directly from your cameras. It's kind of skipping the Genetech system per se and going directly into Fuses.
Great, thank you.
Okay, and then because we represent two cities, would then the Newport Beach Police Department have access to the Costa Mesa campuses? Do we need to work as far as, basically, you'd have access to all of our cameras, right? On all of our campuses?
Hello, Jake Nissen with Axon Fuses here. Pleasure to be here today.
So you're actually able to pick and choose what
Okay.
campuses or what cameras are actually integrated into the platform. So it's not an all or nothing type situation. You're actually able to pick and choose by each camera that actually gets integrated.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Yes?
So actually, I have a follow-up question. So the cost that was mentioned was 48,000 for all of our cameras, but then you mentioned that doesn't cover implementation. So what is that additional cost? What does implementation cost mean aside from the 48?
I'd have to defer to our sales team on that. I will note, though, that, like I said, you're able to pick and choose which cameras you actually want to share. It's not an all or nothing type integration. So, for instance, if there were certain interior cameras that you didn't want to share, and let's just say it was a situation where you just wanted to share exterior cameras at the schools, that would likely significantly cut cost in regards to what the city would be paying for the course.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
And Trustee Weigand? Or
I have one more question. Are we aware of any districts that would have that same exact model of working with Fusus and Genentech and Centegix together?
So personally, myself, I've integrated dozens of schools across the country. I have definitely done schools with Genentech systems in the past. I know I did one in Omaha not too long ago. I'd have to compile a list and provide that to the board, but the answer is yes.
So you've seen systems work integrating both?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. Thanks.
And sorry,
done.
and the integration, you mean like a school district working with their local police integration in California? How many school districts have done that?
In California, I'd have to get you a list. I've done dozens of schools across the country, but I can definitely follow up with a list of schools we've done specifically in California. Off the top of my head, Los Alamitos School District in LA County was one school that I've completed recently, and I have done schools in Orange County as well.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Weigand?
Yes. Thank you guys so much for this presentation. I know it was a feat to get all of this information together. So thank you so much, Jonathan, for doing this and answering all of our questions. Just out of full transparency, I actually work for a security camera company. I am in sales, but it's for homes and DIY. So it's not for commercial use, just to let you know. But some of my questions are going to come off as more of some of that technical questions. So with this, you were talking first, the last thing was the load on the network. And when we talk about load on the network, when you have Genentech and Fusus coming together, that's going to create that grainy picture where you're not going to get all of the quality information that you would need, right? And that's what we're concerned of, is that load on that network and the lag that might happen. Is that something where we would need bigger broadband or something to take over the amount of data and refresh rate or whatever we're using?
I think we'd really need to evaluate that further to understand exactly what the impact could be on camera quality.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so if, like, for instance, if you're going to use this to look at a license plate or the image of a person coming in, does that person have brown hair, white, like white hair, what does that look like? And that kind of image quality could be, I mean, that's why you have cameras, right? Is to see what you're trying to see. So I love the fact that Centegix does, I think that will be useful. I've seen that all over our campuses this week, and I'm really happy with that. And I like how that would directly work with Fusus as well. But the integration with our PDs, where that notification goes directly to them, I think is great. I have a couple questions on the privacy side of it. You were talking about, Jonathan, Education Code 49076 that allows sharing of access during only emergencies. So this is the ed code that allows us to share with the police only during an emergency.
Well, and this is the ed code that has to do with student records. So that is one of quite a few. It's a very detailed ed code, And that is one of the exceptions in that ed code that does allow sharing of student records, which camera access during an emergency could be viewed as a student record. So that was the interpretation from Parker and Covert, is that that is an area that footage would be allowed to be shared during an active incident.
Okay. And then what if it is a historical review of some footage that we might need to see, and that's not including in an emergency, but it's like an ongoing investigation? What code protects that, and what code allows for that, I guess?
I don't have the code in front of me,
Okay.
but there is a code that directly allows providing footage directly during an active incident investigation to law enforcement.
And then with that data and that, recording, that is protected under evidence codes, right? So that cannot be used for other purposes, or if it's past, right?
Correct. And that is shared through Genetec Clearance, which is the record system that is the Genetec's record system. So that is all shared by creating a case. That is all shared by being very specific with who it's being shared with, being very specific on what type of access they have, as well as for how long.
Okay. And when we're giving folks this access, and we can go back and audit to see who has access, when it was pulled, because I think there is that like uncomfortableness of people having access that maybe are using it for different reasons and not for an emergency reason. So can you tell me a little bit more about our audit systems that we currently have with Genetec, and then how we could have that with Fusus as well?
So with Genetec, we can go into every single account that is a Genetec account, whether it's my account, whether it's an account for a dispatch center supervisor, real-time crime center investigator, whoever it's set up for. They all have specific individual accounts. We can go into those records and see every time they access the system, the cameras they access, the time frame they access, all the details of everything that they're touching within the system.
Okay. And then do we have a cadence in which we're doing that regularly today?
We do.
Okay. How often?
So we're doing that at least on a quarterly basis, but informally we're going in more frequently than that.
Okay. And then you mentioned if we did have Fusus, we can have direct access to Fusus and audit our own logs. And that's, so that is with that $20,000 addition.
Correct. By having Fusus cores that are on our equipment, and they are basically our Fusus cores. We have a Fusus platform that we've set up the permissions for those Fusus cores, which are giving the camera access to the real-time crime center. So in that permission, we can go and say it's open access 24/7. We can go and say this is instant-only access, that an instant has to be created in CAD to basically open up that pathway to give access to those cameras. We control directly those permissions, and the law enforcement agency like Newport Beach Police Department can't go into our system and change our permissions.
Okay.
We also have audit logs within the Fusus platform. That's our Fusus platform, to go in and see exactly when it's being used and what cameras are being tapped into, and basically to confirm that that instant-only access is taking place.
Okay. And I like that we would have that audit log on our own. And I think that the mayor, for her generous thought of giving us that $20,000, but I want to make sure that if that was a gift from Newport Beach or whatever that would look like, I want to make sure that we own that data and that information. So I'm fine if we were to purchase $20,000 of this, just so we can own our data, because I think that's what makes most people uncomfortable with certain systems like this is, where's the data? Who has my data? Is this Big Brother? How is it being used? Mm-hmm. And we're here just to protect our children and to make sure that we're protecting our teachers, our admins, everyone on campus. And so making sure that we have control over our own content and our data, our audit logs and everything is I think, really going to be very important to not only our employees, but our students and their privacy. But again, it's all about time to an incident and using it to keep our kids safe. Because, I think about when we were talking about having cameras on our campuses, the goal was to decrease the amount of time it takes for our first responders to get to our campuses and keep people safe and have kids go home at the end of the day. That's really what we want. And so it looks like with everything that you've put together, thank you so much for, I think about, a year ago where we were. We did not have any of this. And now we have all of this response protocol and this technology. It's just great. And then with an addition of, if we decide to go with FUSIS, that would be an even higher layer of security. So just want to thank you so much for your team. I know it's been, it's not easy to get everyone together and also to understand all of this kind of stuff. So thank you so much.
With all these layers of security, I dumb it down to really three things that we're trying to do. We're trying to slow down the bad guy. We're trying to speed up our people doing the actions that they're going to take to protect themselves, and we're trying to speed up law enforcement's response. So I feel like all of these layers of, especially around cameras and FUSIS and Syntegics, it's speeding up all those things as well as giving better information for decision-making of law enforcement when they arrive on scene to have better situational awareness.
Agreed. Thank you so much.
And Trustee Anderson?
Thank you. This was the first that I knew that we were talking about this. It's been interesting because I've been following closely along with the city of Costa Mesa and a lot of the concerns that residents have been having due to cameras being breached and making things unsafe for residents. And so this is, when I got the agenda, this was the first time I had heard about this, as our city sometimes have concerns that don't. We have public meetings, and if it doesn't come out, we don't know about it. And so I guess my concern in hearing the depth of this is based on community concerns for the past probably 3 months or so from the city of Costa Mesa, watching those city council meetings, interacting with people who have asked questions about our cameras. And so just knowing that the breaches are quite possible is concerning to me. If it directly connects to our cameras, where that could go. I think the number one piece to me is concerning that I would like to know before we are having conversations about us even adopting this is a lot more understanding about the legal and privacy review. I think that Trustee Weigand touched on several of those that are key. California has different laws than they have in Omaha. There's a lot of different considerations. And so I would like to ask for more information legally because I'm quite concerned about privacy, particularly of our students and staff if cameras are accessed improperly, right? I think that's the concern. The other piece for me too is we currently have a system where the SROs, if they're using the app, which our SROs are trained policemen from both cities, they currently have what is on the last slide, which is the direct district control. So if something comes up, the SRO can be contacted by the principal or the superintendent. And so my concern is if that's the goal, we already have that capability, right? If we're able to contact what the police already has. The other piece for me that is just concerning overall is after listening to all of the conversations about Flock, and again, this is not the same company, it's not the same capabilities, but I am quite concerned about privacy rights overall and what can get accessed. And so I think we were really specific with the cameras being set up to protect, as Trustee Weigand said, so we don't have to put fences around all of our sites. These are our community spaces. We want them to be open for the public, but we also want the public and our students to be safe when they're there. And so to me, if our SROs who are trained, which I think we've done a good job this year of doing more training, so they know the school sites, they know the processes involved, and we have multiple people on sites, as we heard about crisis response and threat assessment, rather than opening it up to kind of carte blanche with our cameras. There's just a lot more information that I would need before we go any further with this. But I do think this is really thorough and helpful information. And I know it's sometimes tricky because our two cities have different goals at times, different perspectives, and so I understand this might be a conversation that's been going on for quite some time with the city of Newport, but it's quite new for us. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to clarify, Trustee Anderson, the conversation was this item had been asked to be on the July agenda last month, and we moved it to August because July was so packed. So it's not like it was asked for 4 months. I mean, I was out of the country 4 months ago, so it wasn't asked for then. So it's been about 1 month delay. So for those at home, I don't want you to think we're sitting on this for 4 months, as was mentioned earlier. Trustee Murphy?
Yeah, my concern would certainly be the privacy, though. Of course, safety of our students and our families and our teachers and staff is paramount. Quick question: is there an example of this working anywhere with the Fusus and Genentech? And is there like an example? Like, is there, I mean, not to call out an incident anywhere, but has this worked anywhere?
I will clarify that Genentech and Fusus don't integrate together. They run in parallel together. Both integrate with Bosch cameras, but they don't integrate directly with each other. So you can view them as two different systems.
But what we're trying to do, has what we're trying to do worked anywhere else?
So, but this man here.
Yeah. Sorry.
Ken, want to come on up?
I'm with Centegix. My name is Ken Nunes. And we have an integration with Fusus directly to where this badge becomes basically an on-off switch to allow access to the cameras. So there's a digital block. There's no access for law enforcement until this is pressed 8 times, and there may be an approval process in between as well. Once the incident is...
I'm so sorry.
Sure.
So you have to click this first before anything happens?
Yeah, so in a major incident, there's 2 ways that a school might go into a lockdown or another incident type where law enforcement needs to have access to cameras. So typically it's only for severe incidents that law enforcement is allowed to have access. And it's initiated 2 ways. One is an individual who might see somebody with a gun would hit this 8 times. That would communicate with the strobes and then go through the system, talk to Genentech, and also talk to Fusus. And in that moment, it would inform Fusus of the exact location of the incident. More than likely, there's going to be multiple people pushing this button. So maybe 10 or 12. They'll see that live on a map, and they'll also be able to have access to the cameras in those areas, only during the incident. As soon as the incident is closed, usually typically by a site administrator or an SRO, camera access is turned off.
To Fusus?
To Fusus.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, is there anywhere where is there an example of where this has worked?
You're talking about other customers that use this?
Yes.
Absolutely. There's multiple customers around the country
that called to 911. Someone's clicked that thing 8 times, and it has totally worked, and it's been this amazing thing.
Well, every district has different technology, but the ones who specifically have Fusus, there's probably upwards of a dozen out there that have had multiple district-wide incidents that 911 was connected with, yeah.
So in comparison to districts that have had incidents without Fusus to districts that just have Genentech, right? So is there a comparison that one is better than the other? Or?
Well, there's just a difference in what the information that law enforcement gets. So if they have Centegix, but let's say they don't have Fusus or they haven't connected to Fusus, what they're going to receive is a general notification that there's an incident at this specific school. And they will receive generic information that it's in room 202, but they're not going to be receiving a live map, and they're not going to be receiving any video feeds. We do automate that.
With Genentech, you're saying?
With us.
With you?
With
yes.
us.
Okay.
Genentech may be something else, but customers that directly connect with us to 911, either through other mechanisms like Rapid SOS or Rapid 911, they just get a more generic information about the incident. What Fusus does was elevate that to real-time maps of location, exactly where you are in this building on a floor plan, as well as video feeds.
Okay. But Genentech can do that as well?
Locally for you here locally in your district, but not with at Newport Beach or the Real-Time Crime Center.
Okay. Has there been any interest from Costa Mesa Newport Beach to involve fuses in our schools?
Costa Mesa hasn't reached out to us directly, and there is somewhat.
Has not? I'm sorry. Has or has not?
They have not.
Okay.
Costa Mesa has a Fusus platform. Again, Fusus is improved with each layer that is ingested into it. So they have a limited edition of Fusus, but so they follow around their own officers, their own body cameras for their officers. They don't have any district cameras, they don't have any traffic cameras, anything like that. So they have the initial platform.
So would you be able to use then Newport Beach would be able to use fuses in our Costa Mesa schools, but not in conjunction with our Costa Mesa PD?
That's not our desire, to be honest. We would
So,
be limited
well,
to-
that's a great point. So then Newport Beach is only interested in paying that $20,000, not interested in paying the $48,000 for the district. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's from what I know. That's maybe a decision to be made at a council level. But at this point, yeah, we're trying to kind of inch our way in, and I think Newport Beach is a good place to start for us.
So then we'd have to pay that other part. Okay.
Yep. And I'm just, again, the safety of our students and our families and our community is a paramount concern. I cannot state that enough. That's not what I'm worried about about this being able to help us with that or not. I want that to work. But can you just tell me, so without the audit, would you be able to see if somebody was inappropriately accessing the cameras? Or do you have to wait until you conduct the audit at every 3 months or?
Through Genetech, it is us going in and auditing accounts to determine when and where they are accessing the cameras and what cameras they're accessing. So it takes action on our part to audit the use of the cameras for a specific user.
So it doesn't just pop up. Anyway, Chris, right?
What was that?
Does it pop up that someone's inappropriately accessing the camera? Do you have to wait for the audit before that's found?
I mean, I'm sure there's some software that you can set up, like, hey, send me a notification or email every time someone accesses. I'm not sure, but I know that that's like a software or something you can maybe put in as a notification. I think the Fusus man is saying no, but shaking his head back there. But I can imagine, like, either you have like an automatic poll or something of an audit every day or whatever that maybe you have it that pulls it, but it's a lot of things. A lot of these kinds of AI things are like how you train it to do. And we've gone through that with Genetech, with training the AI, having it learn, and that was kind of what's happened over the last year.
So Trustee Wiegand, do you want to do your comment?
Oh, yeah, and so it was actually about Fusus and CMPD. So they wear it on their body cam. Their body cams have control over that, but they haven't, to Officer Miller, they don't have the other connection that they use where they use it with their drones or their traffic cameras. And I think that's probably another level that they haven't paid for. So it's not that they don't have Fusus, they just don't have that other level and they don't have their cameras connected. In Newport, not only are there, like drones, but there's also like traffic cameras. But, if you have your own, say, Ring camera or the cameras I sell or whatever, you can have it integrated with Fusus and give that access to the PD so they can see that. So there are cameras in Newport that have given the PD access. So with CMPD, I mean, I know that Newport Beach has graciously said they'll pay for ours. I think that still has to go through council approval. At that time, that was great of her to say that. But I would warn we need to own that ourselves. So I would say if we're going to own that kind of control, we pay for our $20,000 plus all the setup and everything we'd probably have to do here.
Well, that would be $48,000.
And then 48,
plus the
and then
setup and
28,000 for CMPD. However, CMPD, unless that PD is going to use that data, how would that be? I don't know. I don't know. I think we'd have to ask them if this would help them.
Because when I spoke to CMPD, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, but that was 2 weeks ago, they mentioned that they don't have the fuses up and running like Newport Beach does, so they wouldn't be asking for this kind of integration because they don't have it yet. But it sounded like in the future, they would want to ask for whatever Newport Beach is asking for right now. But then that would mean, extra cost, because I don't know that.
And that's why those two amounts were shared with you, that right now we're focusing, it's the $20,000 that is the annual cost that is Newport Beach PD. If down the road Costa Mesa PD comes and says, we would like you to integrate your cameras into our FUSIS system like you have in Newport Beach, the exposure, at least as of pricing right now, would be around that $48,000.
Great. And then, so I think two things that are kind of flagged for me is, one, we don't have any actual data, I think to Trustee Murphy's point earlier, there's no actual data out there in the atmosphere, is there, that having FUSIS for a school district has directly decreased the response time on a school incident? Is that, or is there internal research that's been done? Because I see that there's no published studies that do it. So is there any internal research that says, hey, having this system is going to dramatically decrease the response time and make kids safer? Because that's been alluded to by at least several board members, this allusion to, we will be safer if we give them FUSIS access. But is that actually true? Does having FUSIS dramatically decrease the response time to get?
So, you kind of know you want to talk with me.
And if you can just speak to the fact that that FUSIS lets you use a single map versus manually. I mean, I think that's really the difference between FUSIS, why we need FUSIS, and why that will decrease the coordination time.
I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see a notification to law enforcement and responding units getting there speeding up directly because of FUSIS. I think the situational awareness that they arrive when they get on scene increases from the dispatcher and the responding officers, and what information they have to basically, when they get on scene, make decisions, know where to go, what to do next.
So Jonathan, before, because you're not addressing the question exactly, so I just want to be clear, because President Ursulou has a question that's specific. Is there verifiable data that demonstrates the efficiency is such that it saves lives, is what she's asking you. You have a bullet there. You can answer that because you've worked with all the companies on that research. There is an answer to that. And then I think there's a follow-up question about how the familiarity helps them.
Yeah,
two different questions, to be clear for President.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's definitely a more familiar system and it's going to make their life easier. But is that ease a few seconds, a half hour, or like what is the actual impact on the saving lives that people are talking about?
There are not, in a K through 12 school district, there are not published studies that quantify what that value is or what that improvement is.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Pearson, your light was on. Did you have a?
My question was for Lieutenant Miller.
So we can't actually question the audience. We've been doing it tonight a little bit.
Well,
but
we can't.
Yeah, like directly question the audience. So if you want a question.
Yeah, I would love for him to explain the difference between what they're seeing, how single map versus the manual lookup, because that's really why I'm interested in FUSIS, is because I do think the coordination between when somebody calls and the police getting to our schools, that will save lives. I just think that's.
But they just explained that that's actually not quicker. It's not.
Well, if they're looking at a map, I mean, if they're looking at a map and they know exactly where the bad guy is, or they know exactly where the incident is, it's going to be, it's just common sense that it would be quicker. But we'll let him speak.
Yeah, absolutely. I could say it would be quicker response and a more knowledgeable response. Your situational awareness is going to be improved. With the FUSIS platform, we can integrate the floor plan, the exact floor plan of the school, of campus that you provide to us. The cameras are situated geographically correct on that floor plan, so we know if the camera is facing northwest, that's exactly where that camera is versus the other camera at room 3 that's labeled, that's facing southeast. We know exactly where that camera is located. We can pull up residence information from
totally
around. it's not just
definitely-
responding quickly, it's responding with the most knowledge. So
Yes.
I know we talked about the SRO having access. If you can kind of envision, you know, the dispatcher or the person in our crime center that gets that initial call versus the responding officer who's driving there with lights and siren, they're not really going to be looking down at their phone or their laptop. They want to get to the scene and they're running through the campus. Whereas we have our crime center folks who can pull up those cameras. They can locate the floor plan. They can see where room 3
Totally
is.
understand it increases your situational awareness. We absolutely understand that. I'm wondering, Mr. Wilby, though, how many cameras are we talking about? Like in a school, where do we have cameras? Like what kind of camera set, like what would this be giving access to? Is there a camera like in every cafe, like, I just don't know, in every cafeteria, every hallway, every class, like where are cameras?
No, for the most part, cameras are external cameras.
Okay.
And they are designed that way that there are not internal cameras in the school sites for the most part. In some of our school sites, secondary schools specifically, there may be some cameras in some common areas, but not spread out, basically capturing a entire floor plan and covering a school.
So the situational awareness of the inside of the school is kind of moot because it sounds like we don't have a lot of internal cameras inside?
We don't have a lot, no. And on a elementary campus or as a intermediate campus, the majority of the cameras are externals.
Okay, so it will help them see what they're coming up to on the outside of a school when they arrive. Okay, Trustee Wygan, and then maybe one more, and then we'll wrap up to get to our.
I would say our campuses differ in the amount of cameras. For instance, like in our secondary campuses, since they are bigger, there might be hundreds. I mean, I think there's, Newport Harbor has hundreds. And so when it comes to like trying to locate an event that would go on a larger campus like that, going through a list of cameras that might be like quad, front door, back door, and they're like, wait, I don't know where that would be. And the Fusus map, and if you hit the strategics, and then it blinks into wherever that is on that campus, is pretty useful because as opposed to being like, okay, I'm getting a notification, would that be camera B, C, D, E, 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 or are we labeled all of our cameras correctly, and those types of things. So there's a little bit of that just provides a little bit more of a direction. And, all of our cameras that are, that we've got, we don't necessarily always love some of our campuses, I should say, don't have fences all around them. And so where that comes into play, really useful, and that's why we have so many cameras on those campuses are because of no fences.
Yeah,
and
you
then,
can't shut them down.
Yeah, you can't shut them down as much, so. There is that awareness, but I just wanted to make sure because, it differs for each campus how many we have.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for your presentation. All right,
Thank you.
next is 17B, the Newport-Mesa Induction Program.
Good evening, President Erslew, members of the board, Superintendent Smith. Thank you for your continued support as we begin the work to develop an NMUSD teacher induction program. Tonight, I'd like to provide a brief overview of what teacher induction is, where NMUSD is today, why we believe there's an opportunity to strengthen this essential service we provide beginning teachers, as well as outline the work that lies ahead. To provide some context, California has a two-tier teacher credentialing system. Most teachers who we hire begin their journey in Newport with a preliminary credential. That credential is good for 5 years and it cannot be renewed. To earn a clear credential, teachers must complete a state-approved induction program. Induction is a 2-year job-embedded professional learning experience. It combines individualized mentoring, reflection, and professional learning to ensure that beginning teachers develop their professional practice. So while induction is a state requirement, it's also an important opportunity to support new teachers during one of their most formative periods in their career. Historically, Newport-Mesa has contracted out for this type of support. For many years, we received induction from OCDE. 2 years ago, we transitioned our provider, and we now work with Hope International. Today, we have approximately 60 teachers from Newport-Mesa participating in Hope's Teacher Induction Program. Our district budget's around $400,000 annually to support our teachers through this required program. Our current provider meets the state requirements for induction. However, as we look forward to the future, we see an opportunity to explore the benefits of what a Newport-Mesa design program could look like. Induction is a 2-year structured process with one simple goal: to help beginning teachers become confident, reflective, and effective professional educators. The process is confidential and non-evaluative. It provides teachers with a space to examine their practice honestly, take instructional risks, and learn from their experiences. Regardless of who provides this program, all approved programs are built around 6 core elements that are required by the Commission. At the center of it all is the relationship between the beginning teacher and the experienced mentor. And it's here where we think we can have our greatest impact. Creating our own induction program will allow us a greater control over how mentors are recruited, selected, trained, and supported. Changing how we make mentors provides us 2 promising opportunities. One involves the way that we directly support our new teachers, and the other is the important way that we can provide indirect support to all of our teachers in the challenging work that we ask them to do each day. As we've learned from other districts that operate their own induction program, we've become increasingly interested in what an NMUSD design program could offer us. An in-house program will allow us to intentionally connect induction to the work that is happening already across our district. For example, we could develop and support NMUSD trained mentors who are not only supporting our beginning teachers, but who are also strengthening their own capacity as instructional leaders. We could connect mentoring conversations to our existing professional learning systems, including our PLTs and our site focus on instructional shifts. Additionally, we can ensure that the professional learning our new teachers are experiencing is directly linked to the curriculum, instructional practices, and priorities they encounter each day in their classrooms. Developing an improved induction program is a significant undertaking, and we are approaching this with a multi-year process. Our first step is the Commission's initial institutional approval process, which establishes whether an organization is prepared to become an approved sponsor. That process includes 5 steps of gathering evidence and submitting for state review. During the next 2 years, we will be developing the program, engaging stakeholders, preparing mentors, completing the Commission's requirements. Our goal is to receive all necessary approval so that way we can have an improved NMUSD teacher induction program fully operational in the fall of 2028. So this is not something we're trying to build overnight. We're intentionally using the next 2 years to listen, learn, design, and build it well. As we move forward, our work will be guided by stakeholder input from teachers, mentors, site administrators, district officials, and other partners. We will continue learning from other districts who have developed their own successful programs, while also determining what makes sense for us here in Newport-Mesa. Our goal is to not simply create a program that meets the state requirements. Our goal is to create a program that reflects who we are as a district and provides the support to our newest educators so that they can grow and thrive, so that the students they serve can grow and thrive as well. I want to thank you for your support in this work, and I look forward to sharing our progress as the program develops.
Thank you so much. Any Trustee Crane?
Thank you for the presentation. I do believe that the most important part of this would be the fact that it would be a systemic alignment and coherence, because we can teach our teachers, our new teachers, our philosophy, our way of doing it, the Newport-Mesa way. So it does cut out the middle person.
100%.
So that's huge. So a couple of questions. So one is financial. You had mentioned that we already pay $400,000 per year for the Hope contract, Hope University.
We budget about $400,000 annually. The amount of the contract, I hope, is a little bit less than that. But we also, there's other costs that are associated with the program, such as stipends to mentors and other things.
Okay, so then do we have a number on how much it would cost if we do it in-house? So we can know if it's, is it a cost positive, or have we considered those numbers?
If we get rid of that $400,000 expense, the cost in-house is a lot less because it's basically our principal and special assignment, and still some of the stipends likely.
Okay, and which leads to my second question is who, if we're looking at an org chart of who's going to lead this, so it's a POSA, a principal on special assignment?
So
I mean, how's it going to integrate into our org chart?
Yes.
I think all of that's still in development. I mean, where we are is
What's your vision?
having great teachers. So
No, as far as like who's going to run it.
Having great teachers, having the highest quality instruction.
Well, we know
and
that.
using a North Star that we are relentless about. So this would be part of those goals. I think those details are part of what would be surfaced in the model that's being created. As Mike said, there's just a lot to see and take in and see what models out there are thriving and working to the extent that we want to, and then making it fit again. Mr. Dixon and Ms. Nib will be very sure that we look at the most cost-efficient ways to be highly effective at the same time. So it will be, and Dr. Smith is pretty clear about making sure we're working within the resources we have.
Yep.
So we do imagine that we'd be utilizing people, personnel, positions that we already have. But we'll always need to find mentors and pay for mentors. That's one thing for sure.
Yeah, I think her point isn't, she's not being dismissive. The point is we won't know until we have it developed, and then we can assess, A, who best to lead it, and then what are the realities of the district at the time.
Right.
We don't know what's going to happen as far as the state budget, property taxes, so many things will factor in. The key for this is to A, reduce costs, right? And I would say that's a subset of the overall goal, which is improve quality.
Exactly.
So improve quality, reduce cost, and that'll all be kind of the guiding factors. But we really won't know until, truthfully, until we build it, and then who best to do that, and then what are the circumstances within the district that kind of force us perhaps in a direction based on those two elements.
Okay. And then you had mentioned that you've seen some models, or not necessarily seen models, but you know that there are some districts around the county or the state that use this kind of new rollout of an in-house induction program. And do we know which districts do that around
There
us?
are several districts that surround us that have their own induction program. I've also been networking with districts who have their own program and are currently developing their own program in other counties, trying to take a look as much. But it's a very common model around us.
Trustee Wygand whispered Irvine. Is that one of them?
I do. From talking to other trustees, I think it's Irvine, and I think Saddleback has their own as well, and Orange.
Orange.
And Orange.
Again, larger districts, it's more cost effective.
Yeah. Yep.
Smaller districts need an entity
Right.
to organize it all. But larger districts, we have many of the resources, and we just have such a high quantity of teachers that we do want to make sure we get to imprint who we are in their experience.
Trustee Anderson?
I believe several years ago, we used to have an induction program, but it was like 20 years ago or something. It's been quite some time. But one of the things that I'm most excited about is the fact that this is a great opportunity for our new teachers. I think the reason why a lot of other districts have it is the hours and the conditions and things with the OCDE program was helpful, but not helpful for everyone, and prohibitive in some ways. And there's a lot of people who, now that you have to clear your credential on top of getting a credential, on top of taking all, it's like such a laborious and long process. Now to have that money, like, there's so much money. It's like 12 grand if you do it not within a specific program like this, for a very small subset of people that can afford to do that while also starting their beginning years of teaching. They then get so much kind of cumbersome busy work that is not specific to their school site, that is literally just like, it's not very reflective, it's not specialized, it's like, do these extra reports, make these extra, teacher performance assessments. A lot of it is just very rote and not specific to our district. So it's a huge opportunity as we're walking into our strategic plan and trying to set up systems and alignment that our teachers can get trained. And then also the students that we have that are doing the early childhood piece, the teachers that we have right now that are classified, that are preschool, that maybe want to become credentialed teachers, it really opens up a lot of pathways for us. So, and particularly if you were leading it, that is exceptional as well. So I'm really excited about this, and I think it's a great opportunity for our district overall. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And do we call you traveling principal Hall now? Thank you for all your.
Mike always works. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. All right, now we go to consent calendar. Is there a motion to move it with amended to remove items 18, B20, and B21?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Wygant,
Second.
second by trustee Murphy, and roll call.
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Wygant?
Yes. Great. And discussion action calendar 19A, approve the memorandum of understanding with West Ed and Newport-Mesa School District for the California Healthy Kids Survey for 26-27 school year.
Yes, so a presentation wasn't prepared. It was on consent. The item was removed. We have Assistant Superintendent Shields and then Student Services here to answer questions for the trustees. We'll kind of put it to you since the item was pulled.
Any questions, comments, trustees?
So this is on.
Trustee McElroy, do you have a question?
I don't have a
Comment?
question, I have a statement.
Okay.
So the Healthy Kids Survey, I took a lot of time looking into this, and it came to my attention that this is not a survey that we put on. This is a survey that we are giving to our students because we are been given funds from the Tobacco Use Prevention Education. So I wanted to look into what the survey was and what we are giving our fifth graders, primarily our fifth graders, that yes, we do give the parents the ability to, they have to opt into this. But if you go off the words Healthy Kids Survey, most people would think it's about, physical activity, school foods, all these wonderful, positive questions. And so I went to the survey and I read every question that is mandatory, and then I read the questions that we also chose to, the modules we chose to also give our kids. And this is a 10-year-old would be receiving. They take this survey every year, and I'm not against data. I'm all for data, but I'm not for having a survey done by an outside group that does not understand or know our district and ask our children questions that I feel that are completely inappropriate for a 10-year-old child. And some of those questions are, so imagine a 10-year-old. He's in fifth grade, or a girl. Have you sniffed something through your nose to get high? Have you ever used marijuana? And then it says, no, yes, I don't even know what marijuana is. Well, guess what? Now they do. Now they know what marijuana is. This is a 10-year-old. So this is our Healthy Kids survey. Let me go through a little more questions.
Oh, did you, is there, is? we
I
don't
can
have a-
speak. I'm going to speak about this.
Oh, you have a
I feel
couple-
lonely is a question. I am unhappy, there's a question. Nobody likes me is a question. I worry a lot is a question. I have problems sleeping is a question. I feel scared is a question. I worry when I'm at school is a question on the Healthy survey. So, after lots of, I have a lot of things to say tonight about this, but I think what we should do is come up with our own survey that has to do with our area. And we're allowed to do that. We are allowed to come up with a survey and ask our kids healthy questions and retrieve data. And I'm not against data. I think it's very important, but I think it needs to be data that's relevant to our school district. So I propose that we put together an ad hoc committee to come up with our own survey.
Any other trustees' comments? Does anyone have a question, comment, or does anyone want to make a motion to approve the item?
A motion to approve what?
To approve 19A, the approval of
The
the
survey.
MOU for the Healthy Kids survey.
So moved.
So moved by trustee Murphy. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Okay, seconded by trustee Anderson. Our roll call vote. Did anyone else have any more questions or comments about the Healthy Kids survey? No? Okay.
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
No.
Trustee McElroy?
No.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Weigand?
Yes.
Okay, on to 19B. Approve the contract with Orange County Healthcare Agency and Newport-Mesa Unified School District for the reimbursement for the cost of administering the Healthy Kids survey for 26-27. Any staff want to speak to it before?
Just, this helps cover the cost, so the district doesn't incur a large cost. There are grants from the county that help cover almost all. It's a couple $1,000, the grant, and then it's $1,000 more, I think, for us to administer it outside of those outside funds.
Perfect. Any questions, comments? Any motion to approve 19B?
So moved.
Second?
Trustee Murphy, and second by trustee Crane. And roll call vote?
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Weigand?
Yes.
Okay, and with that, we move to item 19C, approve the agreement for employment of Assistant Superintendent Special Services between the Board of Education of the Newport-Mesa Unified School District and Heather Cash.
Yeah, I just want to remind the community and the board that special services is a broad portfolio for assistant superintendent, which includes special education, health services. At one time, it included student services. We knew that in our district we had great talent, that we really didn't need to do an external search. HR put together a great process for us that included parents, staff, at the site level, district level. All of those groups reported that our candidates blew them away and confirmed from them that we had the talent right here in Newport-Mesa. Again, I want to brag about our district and our board and the bench that you're creating. Dr. Heather Cash, who is the person before you tonight, has served as a teacher, principal, coordinator, and most recently as a director in special education. She is celebrated by her colleagues for her innate leadership ability, for her work ethic, and most importantly, the progress we have made in those areas under her leadership. So she was able to demonstrate to the team, these are the things we've done, and that also impressed the group. So you have her contract in front of you tonight.
Great. Any questions, comments, or a motion to approve?
So moved.
Jinx, you're moved by trustee Weigand and second by trustee Murphy. And roll call vote?
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Weigand?
Yes.
And 19D, approve the Fifth Amendment to Employment Agreement for Superintendent.
So you've already done my evaluation. With successful evaluation, I have an ability to ask for an extension of my contract. This is just that, to extend it 1 year.
Great. Any questions, comments, or motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Wygan, and what was it? Great, Trustee Crane? Trustee Crane, second. Roll call vote?
Trustee Ursulou?
Yes.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Wygan?
Yes.
Okay. And with that, I depart you all for the evening, but you are in the very capable hands of Vice President Murphy, and you will go into the public hearing of which I'm conflict of recusing. Yes, anyway, so give us 1 second. Okay.
All right. Item 20A, public hearing in reference to the proposed State Board of Education waiver extension renewal. Mr. Dixon.
Yep. Thank you. So this is in regards to the Banning Ranch request for proposal process that we received a waiver from the State Board of Education back in November 13th of 2024. That allowed us to go out for an RFP, which we did, and we have subsequently entered into negotiations. That waiver expires September 9th this year. So we don't know if we're going to be done with negotiations prior to then. So this is just a precaution, allowing us to extend that time to give us more time to complete that process.
Thank you. We have some public comments. Jenny Leone.
Hi, my name is Jenny Leone, and I reside at 1619 Somerton Drive in Costa Mesa. My property currently overlooks the about 11-acre parcel owned by the school district that is being considered for residential development. One of the key features of my home is its unobstructed ocean view, which has contributed significantly to both my enjoyment of the property and its market value. I'm deeply concerned that the proposed development, particularly if it includes multi-story homes or buildings, could block or substantially diminish this view. I believe such an impact could negatively affect my property's value and the quality of life for my family and other nearby residents. I respectfully ask the board to carefully consider these consequences as part of its decision-making process and to evaluate alternatives that would minimize the impact on surrounding neighborhoods. Thank you all.
All right, thank you. And Irene Komar.
Hello. I'm Irene Komar. I also live on at 1617 Somerton Drive, which is right directly behind Banning Ranch. I have emailed several times, and I just want to know, I want you guys to know how adamant we are that we are against building in front of our property. I've emailed 4 times, and I haven't gotten a response, so I don't know how many other emails have gone through and haven't. Only 3 of my neighbors have gotten responses from their emails, so maybe there's some that are coming through that aren't going through. So I'm just going to read my email because I don't want to talk publicly, but here we go. All right, I'm writing to you as a concerned resident of Costa Mesa. I live directly behind the Banning Ranch, and I'm very concerned about the proposed development of the land behind my home. My neighbors and I have all attended the last several board meetings and expressed some of our concerns over the loss of the natural habitats that would happen if you build residential property on this land. For some reason, everyone has held off on stating the strongest reason for not building on this high-density housing on this property, our property values. The residents of Lighthouse community have all paid over $1 million to live in this specific location. Those of us directly on the bluff have paid closer to $2 million. If you build homes, especially 4-story homes directly behind us, we will lose over $1 million each in property value. At this point, we are all in search of lawyers to file lawsuits against Newport-Mesa School District to recoup that loss, should you go ahead with this development. I'm going to skip that part. There is also massive development happening along 16th Street right now with no plan for infrastructure. This could spell disaster for all concerned. Might I respectfully suggest that instead of high-rise buildings, you build something that would benefit the students and families in your district, such as athletic fields, a skate park, or nature centers for field trips. These things would benefit, bring some income, and benefit without negatively impacting the current residents in the area. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I messed up. I did not say the first part, which was the hearing is now open. per usual. Rosie, what time was that at?
Rosie was paying attention.
Thank God. Alrighty. So now the hearing after any more public comments, anyone? Nope. Okay. Hearing is now closed at 8:33. Awesome. Anything else? Nope. Okay. Next item, the resolution and the adoption of the calendar. Adopt resolution number 020826, authorizing a request for an extension renewal of a waiver of the surplus property competitive bidding procedures. Mr. Dixon.
Yes, thank you. So this is in relation to the public comments we just had now. This resolution would allow us to seek the waiver from the State Board of Education.
Okay. Any questions? So moved.
Oh, quick question. How long is this extension?
1 year for sure, potentially 2 years. We'll ask the waiver office for 2 just to be safe, but sometimes they give us 1.
So 1 with a potential for 2?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
we'll ask for 2.
Okay.
Oh. Trustee Anderson.
Thank you. And then my understanding, if you could explain a little bit more. So this waiver committee will be meeting one more time. And can you tell the public when that is, because that's a public meeting?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to address that. Yeah, so there's a surplus property advisory committee that happens anytime a school district wants to sell or lease property. That occurred here at the district a couple of years back. They made a recommendation to the board. The board, by way of open session in a resolution, accepted that committee report, declared the property to be surplus property, meaning you don't need it for an educational purpose, and then gave the green light to pursue a ground lease potentially and to ask the State Board of Education for a waiver of what we call the competitive bid hearing requirement. So instead of at an auction where you have to take the highest bidder, here you can send out a request for proposals, receive those proposals, and then negotiate with those respondents for the most desirable, that which suits you the best. So that's the process we're followed here. In order to move forward with then a waiver renewal or extension, to just re-up, if you will, with the State Board of Ed, you have to convene that committee again for one meeting. That'll be next Tuesday at 9 a.m. here at the district. Offices, I believe there's room, but I could double check that. But I'm sorry? Sanborn room. So 9 o'clock this coming Tuesday. would be the committee's fifth and should be the only one it would need, I would imagine. It's usually a very short 5 or 10 minutes, depending on public comments. It could be longer. And there we just indicate, here's what we did at the first 4 meetings. Here's what we've done in the interim with the request for proposal that was sent and the like. And that September 9th is the deadline. To extend that, we need them to meet and just say that they spoke about it and whether or not they approve of a waiver moving forward. Either way, you can still file that with the State Board of Ed, but the State Board of Ed requires that we check the box that we spoke with our committee. Sure.
Any other questions? All right. So moved.
So moved.
Second. All righty. Rosie?
Trustee Ursulou? Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Wagon?
Yes.
And the vote was 6-0. Item 21B, resolution number 030826 of the Board of Education of the Newport-Mesa Unified School District authorizing special counsel for social media and video game litigation.
So moved. Oh, sorry.
Well, Dr. Smith.
You're ready to go.
I'm ready to
go. Go ahead.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, please.
So this board has led in issues of cell phone use on campus. We've heard from parents tonight about the impact of certain elements online. This is a multi-district litigation being brought forward by the Orange County Department of Education as a convener of districts. They get no money from it. It's on a win base. If we win, we get money and the attorneys get paid. If we lose, we don't come out of pocket at all. So there's no risk to us. It's a chance for us to be rewarded for the impact that these negative things have had on our students, and then use that investment to support our students, like some of the things you heard tonight, student services that are very positive. So that's what you have.
So any other questions? Nope. All right.
Second.
Carol and
Trustee
you got
Ursulou?
that, Rosie? Yep. Okay.
Trustee Murphy?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Crane?
Yes.
Trustee Wagon?
Yes.
All right. 6-0. And now informal reports. Superintendent Smith.
Busy week and 2 days. Let me thank everybody for last week. I heard from lots of folks that the professional development training was some of the best we've ever had in this district, and that came from the employees who are being developed. So that's a huge compliment to our team. From a conference to having nationally renowned speakers come in and then grade level meetings, just great stuff. And then that's across the board for our classified as well, where they were able to come in and do that work. And then we launched this week, and I got to tell you, there was a lot going on. You may have read in the media that we've made some board policies recently that caught the attention of folks, which caused us to really work throughout the summer to get locations set up, bike racks, et cetera, a new program for students authorizing that they know how to use bikes, to get certified, to have a tag, a lot of moving parts. Man, has it been smooth. And I know my team's like saying, don't say that, you're gonna jinx us. It's been so nice. And I have to compliment the board for their direction, but staff for the planning, the communicating, the implementation. And I have to thank our parents. Our parents have supported it as well. And so across the board, very smooth. Class sizes, again, are the smallest in the area. The staffing that we provide, it's just beautiful. And so thank you to the board for your support. Thank you to everybody that made the first 2 days so smooth. Let's keep it going. Like 178 more, right? Let's keep doing this. But a big thank you to everybody.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Trustee Wygant?
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much for all your guys' effort getting our kids back to school. I've had probably the best 2 days in the last 3 months. But no, I really appreciate it. It's, it is no small feat to get our campuses ready, our teachers ready. I just want to thank you and roll out this new policy that we've asked you to do, not only to build new bike racks, but also to handle all of the interest out there from parents that are supportive one way or another, or maybe not supportive. But I really appreciate all of that. I do think, the safety of our students is priority. I also wanted to, I heard from some people that were at the teaching PD last week that it was like a mini conference where there was an app to send people to. There was a 71 breakout sessions, like it was a mini conference. And so for all you guys that put that together, I heard that was well received and amazing. And then I just want to thank also the parents that came out to talk about technology. That has actually been the number one topic of conversation I've had with parents. So thank you for that. But I just want to say it's been a great start to the year. I can't wait. 178 days seems too soon. So, but I thank you.
Yeah, similarly, just a great launch to the year. I do want to thank the community and the staff for rolling out a board policy that, took some courage to make, because as CBS LA reported, we're the first in the state to roll out such a policy that's K through 8, all inclusive on banning e-bikes. So it didn't happen. We just said, go do it. And you did, and again, kudos to the families who probably had to make some big modifications in their lives in order to get their kids to school. But you know what? They realized that safety is first. So thank you to everyone, staff, parents, community, and even our board, here that just made that move to go ahead and do that with our e-bikes. And summer's not really off, because I went to the Summer's Language Academy a couple of weeks ago. Our multilingual staff did a great job bridging our kids, getting them ready for the fall. Just a lot of heart in that program, and I'm a complete believer. So thank you, Laura Del Pache and team, for what you did with the Summer Language Academy, the rollout on, just proud to be part of Newport-Mesa, classified, certificated. You guys are just all in, and we can't do it without you, so thank you.
Yes, it was a wonderful launch to the school year, and I am especially appreciative of the campus improvements. It was wonderful to see and know all 5 of the schools that are in Area 7 have been newly painted in the last few years, and the landscape is looking so much better, so I just thank you so much. I know that there was a lot of work that went into that, and so thank you very much. The campuses look beautiful. Thank you.
I think my highlight, besides today, was great. Going Newport Harbor and walking with the principal was great. But the expo that we did, the back to school with all the, I don't know what, did we have 2,000 more kids or 2,000 total? I forget.
At least 2,000.
2,000 more, I thought. I don't know. But anyway, it was wild. So we giving away, I mean, the shoes, the backpacks, all the people who put it on, it was amazing. That was one of the first things I did last year as a board member. And then this year, it was just as rewarding, if not more so, because it was bigger and better, and just like the haircuts. Anyway, it was just super fun. So anyway, looking forward to the school year, looking forward to going to my Flag Deck Friday at Newport L, my favorite thing to do. And I'm going to continue fighting to get the correct wording for all of us when we are helping our kids out in a positive way. That had to do with my previous thing I was talking about. Thank you.
As Krista said, there were a lot of happy moms and students at my elementary schools. Always fun. Also, I want to thank the parents that came today. The moms came today to speak about screen time. I want to give it to them that they not only did the petition, but they actually asked for, they did a survey to actually get responses back, which has been so helpful, and that it's going to help us when we sit down to make our decisions. So I want to thank them for that. And the expo was always a highlight. It was good to see that they actually had kids out there riding bikes this year, which I thought was great. The haircuts, enough shoes this year, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. I'm just, well, a couple of things. Costa Mesa Middle School and High School looks so
good.
great.
It does look so good.
I'm so excited. It just looked fabulous. And just being on campus, you could see kids had a little pep in their step. They're at this very pretty campus now. They may not call it pretty, actually, but I thought it was pretty. And so thank you to the whole team, everyone who put a lot of effort into making over Costa Mesa Middle School and High School. So thank you so much. And then, so I'm not going to cry about my son with who's on the spectrum. Who I bawled, I think, in front of all of you about it a couple of times, and how tough it can be as a mom with a kid with special needs. But I will say, I have to admit, I've wanted to throw that Chromebook through a window almost every day of his educational career. Every day. I shouldn't probably admit how much I hate that thing, but I hate that thing. And so I don't know, maybe you'll know how I'll vote on it, but it's really tough. It's very tough for parents of, regular ed kids, but certainly parents of kids with special needs, because they get so easily focused on screens, and it feels like addicted to screens, and it becomes very, very hard to pull them off of the screens. And it's been something that has been in his IEP, I swear, for like the last 10 years, to try to limit his screen time, to have an aide to help him get off of that screen time. As one of the moms said, I mean, he knew all the tricks of how to get around every single possible way you could keep a kid from watching videos or playing video games through the entire school day. I swear to God, he could do it. So I am very much looking forward to what we decide to do with this, and not to disqualify or discount what our teachers do and how hard they work, and how important when they need to use the Chromebook or a YouTube video or whatever. I know that is important, but I know what the downside is for our kids having too much access to screens. So that's all I have to add to the conversation. All righty, we're done. 8:48. Thanks, everybody.